What is up? Welcome back. It's Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with my dude Brian. Brian, what is up, my dude?
You, Chris,
Yo.
what's going on? What is going on, buddy?
It's been a week. It's been a week. All I can say, it's been a
Tell
cool
me
week.
about it. Tell me
Huh?
about it. Tell me about it.
It's,
What's going
it's been
on?
pretty chill. Been doing a lot of my own kind of like research and homework on a lot of 3D design. Man, I've been really pushing on a lot of this like sculpting in 3D Blender. Been
I saw
using
you made a
live
helmet.
camera.
Like you made like a helmet or something the other day, right? What was
Mhm.
that?
Yeah. Overwatch released a new character called Kariko, and she has this really nice, this nice little like Naruto style forehead band. Took a chance. I saw it wasn't too complicated, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna recreate this as best as I can in the program that I use and see what I could do. Took me about 3 hours, not too long, and had a good time. Had a really, really good time teaching myself a lot of new things, and I'm really excited. Just really
Nice,
excited to see where it goes. How about
nice,
yourself?
nice. I mean, dude, it's been a long week. Again, I was telling you a little bit off camera what's been going on with me, so I'm looking for a new apartment. So that got that going on. Got some good leads. I actually got a call today. Probably gonna get offered the spot tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice,
Got some new job opportunities I may have on the horizon. So
nice.
yeah, fingers crossed on that. And other than that, man, I mean I'm blessed to have a week like that. So I can't really ask but for much more. But I know that I know, I mean, again, I don't have anything in comparison to you and what you got going on because you're just like all over the place. But I know you got some cons and some shows coming up. What, like, tell us
Yeah.
about that.
This weekend we have United Collectors Expo. A good friend of ours, Armando, he's going to be hosting it. It's in Edinburgh at the Activity Center. Doors open at I want to say 11, ends at 7 o'clock. Pretty cool. Just a nice little convention. Usually gets I'd say about 250 to 375 people at the max.
Mhm.
Which I mean, you can't complain for in a small town like Edinburgh. And then next week we have a huge convention, Anime Fiesta, which is hosted by our friends from South Texas Comic Con, our boy Ramsey Ramirez. That one is a pretty big one. Usually about 19,000 people show up for the weekend.
Wow,
So
that's
it's pretty solid.
sheesh.
And
That's a
that
big,
was like
that's a
right
big,
after the coronavirus. It was like one
that's
of
a
the
big
first ones.
turnout. Where
Yeah.
now? Where is that located? Where
That
is
was
that?
in McAllen at the convention center, which
Okay.
is kind of like, I guess you could say the mecca of the valley when it comes to like the
Events.
busiest, yeah, like the busiest cities and stuff like that. That would be kind of like the center, and it's right in the center, like I said, of like the valley. We do have another convention. That one's going on at the beach. That one is Bonsai Con. So if anybody's out there, you guys have a good time. It's going to be pretty cool. It's their first time back in years. So yeah, that's going to be another event that's going. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to that one though, because
Why
we'll be at
not?
Anime Fiesta. But straight up, it's going to be a busy weekend, man. George, our boy George is in the
Yo,
comment
yo.
section. What's up, Georgie? Um, yeah, it's been a pretty cool week. It's been very chill when it comes to like our nerd stuff. So not too crazy. And not only that, to put it out there, I don't have my phone with me, but I believe October 26th, the last October 29th or 30th, one of those days. I don't know. Oh, wait, let me go down one. Oh, yeah, here we go. October 28th is going to be October 29th. I'm going to guess October 29th. We are hosting an event at the 80s Brewery. It's going to be called NanoCon. It's going to be like the coolest, most like to the fucking dot retro gaming con you could think of. It's hosted by the Average Boys, of course, Widowmaker Studios, and Games by Ham. All of us are going to be out there doing some great things. Joshua's going to be out there. Ham's going to be out there. It's going to be a fucking cool event. Some really great games. Mortal Kombat 11, Street Fighter 2 Special Edition, Championship Edition, Galaga fucking tournaments. You name it, we're going to have it. Any convention, any retro game you can think of that you would be like, yo, I can compete at that Tecmo Bowl. We're going to try to do Tecmo Bowl, NBA Jams. Remember NBA Jams?
Of course.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna try. And GoldenEye. I'm really pushing for a GoldenEye tournament.
I think they're doing a reboot, right? Aren't they doing like a
Yes.
reboot for GoldenEye? Yeah.
And that's what I was telling the guys is I think it'd be a great opportunity. Now, of course, we're gonna have like Tekken Tag. We're gonna have, I think, actually Tekken 7, right? Because they're coming out with Tekken 8 soon. We're gonna do Tekken 7 because we have a huge amount of people coming in for Tekken. And of course, Mortal Kombat. We're gonna have Chris DeLeon out there. He's our dude. He's the local ass kicker when it comes to a bunch of these fighting games. And he's like a dude that goes and competes like at all these national tournaments. He's a badass, man. So it's gonna be a really cool event. Can't wait. Gonna be lots of vendors inside and outside, live music. They're gonna have this like a full rock band karaoke setup where it's gonna have like
Full rock
a
band
full rock
karaoke
band.
setup.
It's so weird to say it because, like, of course, we know the video game Rock Band, and it's like a guitar, but no, it's gonna have
Okay, I got you. I got you.
voice, a drum kit, guitar, I think like a bass, but like everything is set up for a karaoke type of situation. I think that's so cool.
That
I'm
sounds
super
cool.
excited, super excited. So
Oh, yeah.
that'll be October 29th, the weekend before Halloween. Really excited. Yeah, it's gonna be at a really cool place, the 80s Brewery, which is this really nice retro arcade down here in the valley in McAllen. So guys, check it out. We'll be posting up when it gets a little bit closer. But super excited, super excited. What's up? How you doing, Christella? That's Christella's mom. How you doing? Thank
Hello,
you so
hello.
much. Hope you're doing good. Hopefully you're having a good week and everything is so cool. So far, so good. This week on Nerd with nerd stuff really isn't that much, man. Really isn't going on. Nothing really. The only thing that I've kind of heard that is, I guess you could say, based on like a nerd kind of thing, would be this thing with Black Adam that we heard.
And what's
Right?
that? Tell me.
So with Black Adam, there was recently a TV spot that is released, right?
Yep.
Pretty much everything that we've seen in previous trailers has gone on, except they've added something which is Black Adam.
Yo, dude, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yo, aren't you like tired of these Black Adam fucking trailers, bro? Like, how many fucking trailers
it's
are we gonna get,
advertisement.
bro?
It's film advertisement.
Bro.
I'm more tired of just not knowing what DC has planned for us, man. I'm so worried about them. Like, I'm
Oh my
still
God.
really hyper worried. One, Ezra Miller came out in the news earlier this week and was like, "Yo, I'm
what,
Jesus,"
what
or
did your
he
boy
say?
do? What did your boy do? Yo, I'm so tapped out from Ezra Miller, dude. I don't even
I don't even
know
what to
what he does
expect.
anymore,
Dude,
dude.
okay, so funny thing is, we had that conversation about, hey man, Ezra's gonna get help. You know, yeah, dude. And remember, we were like, all right, I think you're gonna get quiet.
No.
And dude, a week later, dude, this guy fucking like,
No. What actually happened was, I think it was you and Mike, right? I think Mike was on the show with
yeah,
us when we
Mike,
were talking
Mike,
about
yeah.
it. Mike was on the show with us, and I said, because I think we were talking about whether or not this movie should be canceled or not, or it should be scrapped. And I said, you have to remember that you have a whole year to go where this guy has to be just like under wraps and keep like a low profile. Like, do you have any faith in that? And I'm like, there's no shot. And here we are.
Yeah,
So
you hit it right on the button. And for me, it was one of those things that I was like, dude, it's one little, like, maybe the dude weighs like what, $135. You know, the Warner Brothers got some big dudes that they get hired just to hold them in a room, you know, for a little bit. Lo and behold, this guy comes out like what, 2 weeks later, and he's like, yo, I'm Jesus. And this is why I was grooming this like kid when she was 12. Like, he literally came out and admitted that he was grooming her. And the reason why is because he believes that she was a spider goddess and that their offspring was going to start the apocalypse. Like, that's what this fucking dude said. Like, representing, you know, Warner Brothers and DC Universe Online, or whatever you want to call it. This is what this dude said on national, like on a national news syndicate. Literally just came up and said this shit. Where did they go from here? Like, this dude's supposed to be in rehab. He's over here making spider babies and shit. Like, what's I don't get it. Hey, what's up, Triggs? How you doing, man?
yo.
What are we?
I mean, dude, what do you mean? I'm right. I told you this guy is out of control, and
he's a menace.
He's a menace. He is a menace, running around, just doing and saying whatever the fuck that he wants. And here we go. We talking Ezra again. I'm telling you, like, I honestly never have to cover this guy ever again. To be honest with you, like, I'm over it. If they put out this movie, they're stupid. And
hooligan, man.
They're fucking stupid if they put this movie out, because at this point you're not gonna. I honestly don't feel as though you will make any money off of this movie, so there's no reason to put it out.
So the thing is, what we wanted to talk about, or at least bring up in at least some type of conversation, is Black Adam released a trailer, and in the Black Adam trailer, fucking saying Black Adam like over and over again. I can't stop saying it. The Rock. I'm just gonna say the fucking Rock. The Rock goes off and says, no one on this planet can stop me. And then a bunch of shit came out where the person that's directing the film made a tweet and said, the person's going to say, well, thank God I'm not from this planet. And a bunch of fucking like reporting sites were like, Superman is coming back. Superman is coming back. Superman's the one that's going to stop him. Now, in comic books, the two people that do get to put a beat down on him that are in that nature, or three actually, it would be, of course, Superman, Green Lantern, but he really can't hang with someone like Black Adam that for all that long. And then, of course, you have Martian Manhunter, right? Those are like the three major people. But of course, Superman being Kryptonian is the person that a lot of people are like, yo, Superman confirmed, 100%. Let's go. Henry Cavill's coming back. But the problem is I think we've all kind of come to terms to know that Warner Brothers doesn't really want to revolve around the Snyderverse, right? I guess that's the easiest way to say it. They wanted to get rid of the Snyderverse because it's very messy. Well, would you concur, Brian? Would you concur with this statement?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I think it's just the fact that all statements have pointed in that direction. And again, they meticulously have stayed away from flat out saying that we're done with the Snyderverse or any of the Snyder characters. And I think this is pretty interesting because they and again, not to go back to this Flash movie, but a lot was riding on this Flash movie in terms of where the future of the DCU was going. So I think that, and we all know, again, we just talked about how much of a fucking shit show that has turned out to be. One, I think, and this is going to just in terms of this Henry Cavill rumor, which let's rumor it up for a second, right? So one reason I think there could be some validity to it, that it's true, and I also think that it's not true. One, piggybacking off of what I'm saying about this Flash movie, if they were hanging their hats on the Flash being the one to reboot the DCU, and that no longer seems to be the case, you got to go for someone big to do that. So yeah, they may be done with the Snyderverse, but everyone wants Henry Cavill. Let's bring him in. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to stick around. I don't think he sticks around. I don't. I think he'll come.
So you don't think he'll come back and maybe hopefully get a new?
No, if he comes back, I think it'll be for just this cameo or whatever. But then also I think that I don't think there may not be legs to it at all, because for the longest they have been trying to get this guy to come back, and they just can't get it done. Now all of a sudden they get it done. I don't know. I have no idea. It's very confusing.
We can kind of say that The Rock has some pull, right? And I know that The Rock himself had been kind of like clamoring for the idea of Henry Cavill coming back and them two.
But what pull is that? What pull? Are we talking about pull to get him as a cameo, or pull to get his entire job back? Do you think The Rock do you think The Rock has the pull that he comes back on like full time? I don't think he has that pull.
I really doubt it.
I don't think he has that pull. Does he have the pull to get him back in the cameo? Yeah, probably.
Maybe, yeah, probably for the cameo, I'd kind of recommend or see that coming more. I can't see him being like, "Yo, let me hit up Henry Cavill, send him a text, and do a 5-year contract." Yeah, I don't really see that being a thing, and I don't really see that idea of Black Adam being the Super Bowl against Superman when it's just supposed to be Shazam. You know, it's not something where it's going to be like that's his go-to end villain or his rival or whatever. The rival for that character is supposed to be Shazam in some way.
Yeah, I mean,
to build up him and Zachary or whatever.
But what The Rock has said is that he went out of his way to make sure that people understood that Shazam has nothing to do with this movie or this character. I don't think they're going to go in that direction to where they're going to incorporate Shazam, at least not now.
Yeah, at least not now. But that's the thing, is like, we know story-wise that Black Adam has to be with Shazam sooner. Like, that's the end goal for that character. There has to be some turmoil, some fight against him. Like,
unless you're The Rock and you say no, I'm not dealing with that shit at all. Now he has the pull for that. Now, if you want to talk about the kind of pull that he has, I think he has the pull to say, yeah, nah, like Superman, cool, but that little kiddie shit they're doing over there, I don't want any parts of that. He may have that type of pull.
Yeah. But that's like
because he said it like
kind of like crazy is because that's literally like Shazam is the antithesis character to Black Adam. Like those are the two major villains in those story arcs. Like that's like who literally he archetypes against. And you think do you really feel like The Rock would be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not about that life. I want to be the.
Well, that's what he said. He came out that's what I'm saying. Like he made a statement like last month. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He made like a statement like either last month or like a couple weeks ago to make sure that people understood that this is not in the same like realm. Because like you said, we all know that his hand in hand partner is, or hand in hand comic book rival is Shazam. But he made sure that you guys understood that this is not, it's not that.
Damn, this is so crazy, man. Man, the DC universe is all fucked up, man. Like it's super fucked up. So okay, so who could we kind of say could be this person that he's talking to? Because I mean, in simple terms, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Hawkeye or Hawkman or whatever the fuck is, I think Hawkman is supposed to be like a dude from another planet. Even though the character or the human being that he avatars is from the same region as Black Adam. I believe that the character of Hawkman, like the creature or whatever, comes from another planet. So I don't know if that's probably who he's talking to in that moment, and it's not even relating to the post-credit scene. But the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I say that they're still kind of like holding on to the Snyder situation is, did you know Snyder just recently came up in a cameo in Teen Titans?
No.
Like he did a whole episode in the Teen Titans cartoon. And in the car, I mean, and Teen Titans, like they don't hold back like on anything. Like they made even a whole ass episode, the new Teen Titans making fun of themselves, knowing that they suck compared to the old school Teen Titans anime that everybody loved. So like these guys don't hold back. So they had an episode where Zack Snyder came in as a character, as himself, and he voiced himself. And then they did a rendition of the Teen Titans if they were part of the Snyderverse. And he went and just drew them as they do in like the Judas case or the way that they do the animated films. And I was kind of like, damn, dude, like that's interesting that DC's allowing them to put Zack Snyder in this part and reference him again, even though they're kind of like, we really don't want anything to do with this anymore. Doesn't that kind of like rough you? Like, doesn't it roll you up a little bit? Like, why would they still reference this guy if they want to get rid of it?
I don't know. I can't tell you anything about what they're doing over there. And honestly, I don't even know how much of any of this overlaps. Like if you have them in Teen Titans, I don't know if that even really, if the people that are making these DCU films even give a fuck about that. Like they could just be throwing their fans a bone. All right, here, you guys want Snyder? Here, take him in fucking Teen Titans.
Yeah, here's an anime film.
They could be doing something like that.
It was pretty on the nose for them to do like a reference of them even being like, oh, look, it's Zack Snyder, the famous film director who made 300 and Man of Steel and all this. Like they reference like everything about him.
So he himself was in the show?
Yeah, I'll bring up the shot, dude. We'll put this up right now. It's so crazy. Like I'm not even lying. Like,
and what was he doing? He was a character, or he was just himself? Or he obviously was just himself, right?
Yeah, he was himself. Yeah. I'll put this up right now. Let me see.
So I'm reading the comments, and I know Rob is just 1000% sure it's Superman. I think it could be Superman. I'm just shocked that we haven't heard anything. Like we just haven't heard anything from trade rumors or anything. Anybody reporting on it? And I saw that Grace Randall put up like a video today about it, and I haven't got a chance to watch it, which I'll probably watch after this because I didn't even hear about this shit. But yeah,
check it out.
Gym in your office, pretty cool, man.
Thanks, guys. Teen Titans, right?
He knows who he is. Zach, may I call you Zach? It's the 365th episode of our show, and we want the best for our fans. We'd like you to give us the Snyder Cut.
Come on, man.
Sounds interesting.
Really? You have the interest?
Sure. What did you have in mind? I could give you the epic period piece look, or the dark and gritty style, or the post-apocalyptic.
He even referenced the
Whatever you
fucking
think
zombie
you're
movie
best.
he made.
Yeah, man, we love your style.
You love my style? Awesome. Well, I can definitely give you that. All right, now sit down, relax, and let me work my magic.
Oh man, this is gonna be epic!
This is
Come on, dumbass. Fuck.
okay. That was interesting. So from there, it goes to this part.
298,
Watch.
299.
Like it gets. I mean, look at the scene. Like it's straight up
This
like
is gonna be epic!
it's literally the scene from the Snyder Cut. Like when DC when Darkseid lands on the Earth.
Let's go wild on these fools! Titans, go! Where did the rain come from?
Who cares? The rain makes this battle look way more epic.
So what do you think of this? I mean, it's cool. I
Yeah,
mean, I really don't. I just don't know how to accept this. Like, why would DC still reign in this whole entire thing with the Snyderverse still if they want to get rid of it?
because it's popular.
I mean, that yeah, of course. Like that's they're not lying.
Tell me, Darkseid, do you bruise easily?
Robin,
What?
wake up, Robin.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough. I just want to see Robin get slapped in the mouth, dude.
Yeah, I don't take too much into that. Like it's cool. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it looks
I
awesome.
didn't see it, but I don't put too much stock in that. It's whatever.
I mean, but do you kind of feel like it's kind of like, well, that's kind of on the nose. Like we know for sure that DC's been talking about getting rid of like separating itself, like distancing itself from the Snyderverse because they want to kind of like, I don't know, like start their own universe all over again, reboot or whatnot. But here they are referencing it again after talking about like distancing itself. I just think it's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know, man. The Snyder shit does not get dropped anymore, man. I don't know. You can tell me what you think about it, but I just think it's a little too on the dot. There's a part of me that really thinks that when the Shazam movie comes or the Black Adam movie, if it's Henry Cavill that comes in, that's them at least staying with the universe because there was something about this that I talked about last week that I just couldn't get off the top of my head. But the thing is when we got the Justice League movie, the very first one, that was Snyder's footage, but it was the Whedon cut, right? So in actuality, the Whedon cut was released and that was the DC universe. But of course,
wait. Say it again.
So when we got the first Justice League movie, right?
Yeah.
We had that whole put together was the footage done by Snyder, but Whedon released it, right?
Correct.
So that would be technically the Whedon version of the Justice League film. Later,
Technically, it would be
it's still the Snyder version.
It's the Snyder movie edited by fucking
by Joss Whedon, but
Joss
put in his terms because he didn't finish it the way Whedon wanted it to finish, right?
Correct.
He just threw it all together.
Or you mean the way that Snyder wanted it to finish?
The way that Snyder wanted, yeah, correct. But later on, of course, a couple years down the road, the people rose up and Warner Brothers was like, all right, cool. Like, we're going to give Snyder the opportunity to release his cut. It ended up being 4 hours, but that's it. Like, we're just going to release it. It's going to be a one-time event, and we hope you guys like it, and that's it. And then they released it, and of course, it got a lot of, praise, and a lot of people wanted that version. But DC itself does not want to return to that proper storyline of Snyder's cut. But is there a possibility that it stays on the Whedon storyline, even though it's off of it? Because it would be technically a separate timeline. It would technically be a separate timeline. Right? Is that not a thing?
No, what are you talking about? Say it, what are you saying? You're confusing me.
When Whedon released the original Justice League,
yes,
the story did not go exactly the same as the way Snyder released it in the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
So that means it's two separate storylines. Technically, it's two separate storylines.
No, it's the same storyline. What do you like? Just because someone changed something, it doesn't mean the storyline is different. Am I wrong in that? Like the storylines.
See, that's why I'm confused. That's why I was like, this is exactly why it was hard for me to kind of push it across last week, and I couldn't find my ways of finding my words. But that's the thing is since Whedon released it, it's right now the Whedon storyline of the Snyder footage. And then Snyder released his and then gave us the flashback story, the scenario of the apocalypse stuff and all of that. Like you gave us a lot more. Gave us a lot more back. Martian Manhunter, added that in there, gave us the cyborg part, gave us a whole bunch of other stuff to the story. And then at the end where Darkseid comes in and I don't know, just looks at everybody, the way Steppenwolf was destroyed and taken out. Like there was a lot of things that were changed upon it with the Snyder Cut because it was what he wanted to release that he didn't approve of what Joss Whedon released.
Okay.
But the actual release was the Joss Whedon storyline, which had all the same characters, which DC could still follow and not go to the direction that Snyder wanted to go, which means they could still technically use all of these characters.
But nothing changed about the story, though. That's where you're confusing me. Like the end of the Whedon movie is the same end as the Snyder movie, though. It just has some extended and some extra shit.
Just extended stuff, right?
Yeah, there's nothing different. There's no alternate universe. There's no alternate timelines. The same movie is just got some extra shit in it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a way like that DC could say, hey, you know what? We're sticking to the storyline, but we're not going through Snyder's. We're not going to go in that process. We're going to go a different way. And the thing is there is a difference in the films, like a different tone, a different element in the way that both films.
1000%. I will agree with you on that. Yes.
So like, what if the Aquaman character, the Flash character, the Shazam, the Black Adam, what if they are all a part of that universe that Whedon released in that tone of voice, just not Snyder's image?
Okay. I see what you're trying to say. Okay. But then I have a question to present to you. If you think that that's what they want to do, if you think that was on the table for them to do you think they would be struggling as hard as they are right now trying to see what works and what's not working, and movies that are getting greenlit, that are getting canceled? No, they would have a direction and they would be going type of direction. They would be going toward it, and they're not, because they don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Yeah, they don't know what the reason why we are having a disjointed conversation is because they're fucking confusing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what they wanted to do, we would know by now. We would know at least something. We wouldn't be stuck guessing week to week with scratching our head saying, yo, what the fuck are they doing over there? Yeah. Like, we would know, and they will let us know, because why not?
But the way I explain it, could that work? Like, do you think it could possibly work if they were to say something in that kind of nature? Or do you feel like it's like, nah, that's too much?
Just for them just to keep the same characters, but just not have Zack Snyder do the shit?
Well, at least not in the form of like the storyline that he was perpetrating through what he created with the 4-hour film.
Where I mean, you could do it. You're gonna get a lot of backlash. But I mean, no. The answer to your question, yes, they can do it. Do I think it's
a good
smart for them to do it? Probably not. Yeah. If you're gonna get away from the Snyder creation and his vision and his characters, I would just say completely get away from it. Because every time you see Ezra Miller, or every time you see, Gal Gadot, you're gonna be thinking of what? The Snyderverse. So like, shit, I would just get rid of it completely, scrap it completely, and just start over if that's what you wanted to do. And I think that's what they wanted to do. It's just not panning out the way that they thought.
See, that's a fucking good point. And you know what? Like, it's super crazy, but I haven't heard Gal Gadot's name in such a long time.
Because they're not going in that direction. And I'm telling you, the reason why the guy Lynn turned down being like the head, being the head executive producer, is because it's kind of like you're gonna have to take the hit for being the one to say, yo, we're not bringing, because I told you, they have not fully came out and said, yo, we're done with the Snyderverse yet. They've never really publicly said that. They're going to need someone to say that, like, sooner or later. And that's one of the reasons why from what I'm hearing, he turned down. It's not the main reason, but one of the reasons is because he didn't want to take the heat for that. He didn't want to be the one to sit there and tell people, hey, I know you love this vision that we've been going towards for like the last 5-10 years, but we're no longer fucking doing that. And so what if he does that, takes the hit, and then puts out maybe 2 years worth of movies that are just bombing all over the fucking place? Now
everybody blames him for the fail.
Exactly.
That's a lot of pressure, man.
He wasn't beat for that. He wasn't beat for that. So, and I don't blame him.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, well, that was my call for Black Adam. I think it's very interesting that people are still
So
clamoring for
wait,
the idea of Superman.
did you? I don't think you even said who you thought it was. You think it's Superman?
Um, I would kind of say it would be Superman because that just sounds like a Superman line where like he'll be like, no one on this planet can beat me. He's like, well, thank God I'm not from this planet, or you know what I mean? That just sounds like some shit Superman would say. Like, but the thing is like Hawkman is not from the planet either. It could literally be a scene from the center of the film.
And it
I
could
would
be, and we don't even know who the main villain is because we know he's only the anti-hero. We
Yeah.
don't know who like the main villain is. If there is a main villain, it could be anybody. I'm
yeah,
hoping.
I think it's too early for us to like, I guess like theorize that it would be technically Superman because man, there's a lot of people that are claiming it to be Superman though. There's a lot of people. Vince, what's up, Vince, dude? Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at UCX, man. Asks, you guys a fan cast for a reboot Justice League cast? Oh man, who would you choose if you were gonna do like? First off, let me rephrase.
I hate these questions. I hate these questions because they're like so like on the spot. I don't know who I'm gonna cast for like a
Well, I
reboot
was gonna ask you
right
something
now.
different. I was gonna ask you
Okay.
what I want to ask is, at what age range, if you were to do a Justice League, would you want them at?
This is okay. That's a better
a little
one.
bit easier question.
That's a better one. That's okay. It's a really good question. What age range?
What's up, Alex? It's my boy Alex. What's up? Yeah, what age range would you want them? Because like, okay, so like right now we got them like they're adults. Like these guys are like they're weathered adults. We got the Kingdom Come Batman practically where he's all like, white hair, late 20s.
I could see late 20s, early 30s. I can see that. That's where I was heading towards. I can see that. I don't need them to be any older than that or any younger.
Right now, I guess the cast would be like their 30s, right? Like they'd be like 30s and above.
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, late 20s. I would kind of want a young Justice League.
Like how young though?
Like I would say like mid 20s. Let's say like mid early 20s. Like Superman being, well, I mean, I don't know if Superman ages that way. But I would say like, yeah, like mid 20s, man. I want them to be young because I would want to see them become the team that way. Because you get more opportunity to grow them and have them make mistakes and grow together as a team and really care for each other. Because my biggest concern was with the group that we had recently in the Justice League films, like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman become this group, the Trinity, right? And they are super close together, super close. And even with the idea, like, I guess the Superman and Batman character were like the Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, like a bromance that was going on was pretty cool. Like in the films when they kind of like got together after Batman versus Superman or whatnot. But I just feel like there would be a better opportunity if you got them younger and they grew into it in the films, that they grew this friendship to be super like dedicated to each other. Like these three, like you really, really build their friendship together. And you take it upon this, like maybe they could be mid 20s when they start, and then in their 30s when it all comes to like their third movie, their trilogy film.
Okay.
And that's where it like builds. And then the third movie can literally be called the Trinity or whatever. And that'd be like the three or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like then they get put on this like episodical adventure where those three have to do like some crazy thing that they got to work together and save mankind. Not just like a save Manhattan or Metropolis kind of situation. Like they could do one of their crisis style events, and I think it'd be pretty good. I would like to see a variation of like the X-Men mansion, the Justice Society, like the way they did in Black Adam. Like the Justice Society of America I'd want to see more of like a beginning version of the Justice League that way. Not like where they look like they're in the 50s or the 60s, but like them at a younger age, them coming to age through this and learning to be adults and learning to be heroes and stuff like that. That's what I would like. So I don't know how to explain that. It's just kind of weird. It's a weird question. It's a good question though. Good fucking question. What about yourself?
Again, I'm gonna go with the late 20s. But I just would like that to be established. I would like that to be established that they are in a certain time frame. And I think that they should play up to the fact that they are in their mid or late 20s. Like, have a play on that, because if you think about it, the Justice League that we got, we really don't get like a time frame. We don't know how old these people are. We don't know really much about them,
Yeah.
other, what I'm saying. So like, I think them being in their late 20s, mid to late 20s, gives them a little bit of runway for them to express themselves a little bit more,
I agree. Vince Weaver says Tom Cruise is Green Lantern. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that guy's really old. I wouldn't have mind seeing like Tom Cruise maybe as, I would say, like a Dr. Fate, since he's already like an older gentleman. That would be pretty cool. Who if there was a character from the DC universe that you could get, who would you want to see?
Wait, say it again.
If there was a character from the DC universe, like any character that you can get a film made after, who would be the character you would like to see in the film universe?
Oh, so I could pick any character in the DCU and they'll make a movie about him.
Yeah.
Okay. Lobo.
You know what? I was thinking the exact same thing.
Lobo.
Lobo would be a fun fucking character to see.
That's
that would
definitely
be that would be a really cool if that was their version of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like
that would definitely be a good movie to make, and I'm surprised they haven't made it yet. So
yeah, that would be a really, really cool one. I think the one that would probably be for me is I would like to see maybe like a Miracle Man.
Okay.
Or like a Plastic Man film. Like any one of those two. Plastic Man is like this crazy comedy version that's of like Mr. Fantastic. And Mr. Miracle he's a very weird character. He's like truly like the greatest escape artist like ever known. But he is the adopted child of Darkseid. And he lives on the planet that Darkseid has. I think it's like a Apocalypse, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But he is the son of one of the new gods. I just forgot, like Orion or something like that. But yeah, he ends up being this dude, and then he's like he's imprisoned, and he finds ways to kind of like get out of like just all the different spots of Apocalypse. Like, it's a really crazy story, but he's pretty cool. He's married to Big Barda. It's got a whole cool cast. It's all the characters that are in the background of Darkseid's like minions of in the movie The Snyder Cut. Remember they had that one old lady that's with him, not Big Barda, Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool. Minuteman he's an interesting character. I kind of like him. He's kind of weird.
And dope. Rob, I would definitely greenlight that movie, dude. 1000%. I would greenlight
Chris
that one.
As Batman, Brian as Aquaman, Trigger as the Flash, Christella as Wonder Woman, and me, of course, as Superman. Let's make it happen, dude.
Greenlight it.
I want to be Batman. If you could be a DC character, which character would it be, Brian?
Whoever gets the most women.
Oh, Hal Jordan, man. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Sign me up. Sam, sign me up.
Yeah, well, that's my idea for Black Panther, or not Black Panther, Black Adam. That's my my news on him, and the idea that Superman might be a cameo. A lot of people are talking about. Still up in the air. I don't think it's something we should really put our eggs in a basket for. But on to our next conversation. Now, this one's going to be more for Brian, because he has the opportunity. Of course, Robert. I think Robert's seen it. Robert's always about these shows. And anyone else in the comment section, we're going to do a review and a recap of the what's it called? Is it the Dahmer Netflix series, or what's the title of it? Do you know the title of it?
Yeah, I think it's called Dahmer. I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, tell me about it. I mean, I didn't get to watch it, and I'm not, me and myself personally, I'm not like a really big fan of these type of films. But there's a huge following of this film right now. It's ranked number 1 on Netflix. A lot of people are talking about the performance of the guy that plays the Jeffrey Dahmer. Tell me about your guys' experience with this film or this series. It's a series, right?
Yeah, it's a series on Netflix, and yes, Robert is right. It's called Monster: The Jeffrey Dahmer Story. I want to know if anybody else in the comments is watching this, or am I and Rob the only weirdos in the world that are watching this?
No, dude, I guarantee you guys are not the only ones. There's a lot.
Well, just on this, just on this
podcast.
stream, yeah, just on the podcast. Honestly, I love it. I love it. I think the acting is top notch. I was telling you off camera, I don't see how Evan Peters doesn't come away with some type, at least a nomination for this. I don't see how he doesn't walk away with some type of award. Uh, just tipping the hat to him because he's doing a hell of a job. I think the portrayal of him is really good. I think um the gravity of what his actions did are perfectly portrayed. It's cringe, man. I love ultra violence and screaming shit, but this had me like on the edge. Like, do I really want to watch the rest of this type of shit? And it's easy for someone to get wrapped in the fact that this is just a serial killer show. But it goes so far beyond that. Now, I've seen other documentaries and movies, specifically the Jeremy Renner version of Jeffrey Dahmer, because he made a movie about this. And they don't go into the amount of detail that this show goes into. And just to know that, all right, even though it's from Hollywood and it's probably, a little bit like they're doing a little bit too much, they're pretty spot on. Like just the detail in itself is wild. And not only that, but they also capture the climate of the era that they were in, and just the negligence of the negligence of everyone that was involved. Like, normally when you hear about a crazy story involving someone getting away with something for so long, it's like, a few people that are involved. But when like multiple people that are involved in something and they all just drop the ball, it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And it's literally a horror story. It's what it is.
Vince Weaver in the comment section just said, I saw it and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go watch Dexter.
It's not gonna be for everything. Now, see, Dexter is boring as fuck to me. I've tried watching Dexter multiple times and it's boring to me. This is actually riveting. Like, this is like the acting again. Even if you're not into it, the acting alone is fucking amazing in this. From Niecy Nash, the neighbor, she does a great fucking performance. Evan Peters again knocked it out the park. His dad, the person that plays his dad, I don't know the actor's name, but he's in a lot of shit that I've seen before. He kills it. Like, everyone's performance is great. So even if you're not into it, just for the acting in itself, I think it deserves a watch. So,
well, as a matter of fact, for people here in the Valley, if you didn't know this, the person that plays the police chief is actually from Far in San Juan. So he's from the Valley. The police chief is actually from here. So interesting stuff.
The police chief actually has, today I watched the part with the police chief, and I love it. I love the fact that, his interaction with Reverend Jesse Jackson when he showed up, because that's a little known fact. So again, they go into a lot of good details that are lesser known facts, that Reverend Jesse Jackson got involved in this trial, in this case. Nobody really knows that, but they highlighted that in this show. And again, it's he was there to highlight the racial climate in Milwaukee, and the fact that he was in this neighborhood that was just not getting the attention that it needed, because people were telling the police, yo, he's doing some wild shit in that apartment. You guys need to go check him out. Like, and no one did anything. And they touch on that. I think that's important. And none of the other shows and none of the other, iterations of his story ever touched on that. And I think that they did a really good job on this.
So right now on Rotten Tomatoes,
it's got an 82. It's got I looked it up. It's got an 82 audience score and like a 92 critic score. They're knocking this shit out the park, bro.
No. Well, right now, Dahmer Monster, Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Oh wait, I was looking at Andor. Wow.
Yeah, this is right now sitting at a 56% for critic rating, and the audience is 90%. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say the audience love it. Yeah, the audience love it.
Yeah, the critics aren't. But why would that be then? Like, I mean, why would you think it would be at a 56%?
I don't know, because I'm the audience. I have no idea why the critics would think that. I'm part of the 90%, so I don't know what the fuck they saw. I can't answer that.
You're like, fuck them guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm the 90%, dude. So yeah.
Why
would you think so?
There's a couple of So Dan Feinberg from the Hollywood Reporter says, "I know why, on an intellectual level, Dahmer does many of the things it's doing. I just wish it trusted its own ability to do them." I guess he's talking about
What
the
the
show
fuck
itself.
does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, I
Explain that
don't
to me.
know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess he's talking about the show. Like, is it?
And that's the reason why I don't care about what the critics think, because they talk in like shit. Like, what does that even mean, bro?
I don't know, man. Well, again, I haven't seen the show. I just wanted to be able to come in and put some of these comments out so you can tell me what you feel like they might be talking about. So he's talking about, I know why, on an intellectual, the show Dahmer does many of the things it's doing. I
Okay.
just wish it trusted itself on its own ability to do them. Do you feel like maybe like they fall short in some of the ways that they're portraying some of these things, or no? Are there anything that kind of feel like, you're trying too hard?
No, because again, I don't know. I don't know because like it's in this case, let's
Michael
just take
Betancourt, what's up, Mike?
just this case in itself. It's very easy for you to think that they're trying too hard, but that's just how sick this guy was. That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy was fucking sick. Like, he actually drank. He used to work at a blood bank, stole people's blood, and was drinking it. Now, you would see that in the show and be like, oh, they're embellishing. But no, he actually fucking did that shit. You would think that, oh, they're embellishing the fact that he literally cooked someone's liver and ate the shit, and their neighbors were smelling it and was pissed off and was calling the cops. But no, he actually did that shit. So when that critic says, oh, I don't know why they just won't let the show do it themselves, I think that's what they did. I think that's what they did. They say, hey, this is what this guy did. We're gonna give you a great actor to portray it. We're gonna get you some great supporting actors around him to portray it, and then you guys do what you want. Some people, listen, this is not going to be for everyone. I can just flat out tell you this right now. If you're not into the serial killer fucking shit, this is not for you. If watching scenes of homosexuality stress you the fuck out, this ain't gonna be for you. Like, this is graphic as hell, bro. Like, watching him kiss and fondling mutilated bodies, this is not for you, bro. You're not gonna like it. And
Michael
maybe
Betancourt in the comment section, good to see you, buddy. I hope you're having a good time on your trip to the college that you are attending for your doctorate. Can't wait to
Yes.
have you come back. Says it's critics acting as pseudopsychologists, pretending they know the actual science behind it all.
Yeah, like, what the fuck does that comment even mean? That rating, or that, I don't even know what that means, bro.
Another commenter or another person left a comment. Kayla Cobb of Decider says, Monster isn't just well directed, written, and acted. It's rewriting what a crime drama can look like if we stopped glorifying murderers and started focusing more on its systemic failures. How do you feel about that one?
I'm guessing they're saying that if you took this non-fictional story and made it into a fictional story, that it could work. Is that what she's saying?
No. I think the way she put this was,
read it again.
It's kind of like the way that I was saying it, where I'm like, the reason why I don't watch these kind of things is because it ends up being where they glorify the murderer.
Well, yeah,
that's
what she's saying. That's what
she's saying is,
if you took this format that they did this, and instead of using a non-fictional character and put it in a fictional setting, then it could work. That's what she's saying, right?
No. What she's saying is that instead of them focusing on the murderer and glorifying him, they're focusing on the society around him and all the turbulation that they had to go through. Which is like what you were saying, where they were like talking about the how the neighborhood wasn't taken care of.
Okay,
And she's saying like that's a lot different from what we've seen before, where a lot of people focus on just the person and then glorifying him or showing his psychology, where this one's actually showing the struggle of the people around it and the failure in the aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things.
That's a good comment.
That's one of the things that stuck out to me. Again, if you take this at face value and think that it's just a serial killer show, you're probably not going to like it. But if you actually watch what's being done and what's being shown to you, it's everything is spot on. So I don't know.
Yeah, and
Again,
Robert in
ag-
the comment section says, "I really hope this shows people to stop idolizing serial killers like they do because it was truly horrible and it scares the shit out of you." And to me, it's like, how can you do that to somebody? I just don't understand it. And you see, that was my biggest concern, is because I don't want to watch this film because of the way that a lot of people, a lot of directors or a lot of people kind of like make these films romanticizing these people and giving them their glorification, to where, in my opinion, it gives other people that may be mentally unstable, or people that cannot control this kind of stuff, or cannot differentiate the difference between reality and fantasy in this sense, and they think that they're going to get this type of success from these stories. And that's what I fear the most, which is like very we said this off camera, and I was talking to you about it, because I guess it's been our biggest, like, I guess, debate in this situation of why I haven't seen it. Because you're like, Chris, dude, you watch all these other fucking crazy shows, why can't you watch this one? And for me, it's one of those things, like, I remember the shooting that happened at the theater where the person claimed to have been the Joker. And then you look at that and you say, look, this is what someone did with a character that has been idolized, where people are like, oh, I'm like Harley Quinn and my boyfriend is like the Joker, and they idolize these things because they think it's cute or funny. But then in reality, you look at their actual relationship and you say, hey, you know what, like, that's a very horribly abusive relationship between those two types of people. This is not something you should be idolizing in the sense of what you want in a relationship, right? And I just fear that these type of films, when they make them and then they become the number one bestseller or best film on the market, that people idolize this stuff and they start to make comments, or they start to um, idolize these people and build them in a glorious way. And I just don't like that. That's just me. But I from the way that you guys have been talking about it, which has been interesting, is like, it's not technically just about this person being idolized, like the Bundy story, where, like, after you saw a weird, like, I guess, like, raise for Zac Efron,
mhm.
like a weird glow up for him. A lot of people were like, "Oh man, dude, Zac Efron can do that to me any day." And it's like, what's wrong with you, dude? That's like a real person that killed fucking people. Like, I don't know. I was just, in my opinion, I just kind of stay away from these type of films. But it's interesting to hear how, like, when we were off camera, you came in and said it's very interesting on how they talk about the people's situation in this, like the other people that were having to deal with I guess like you said, like the crime in those areas or those neighborhoods and stuff. I think that's very interesting. And then the same thing right now you just said about what's his name, the Reverend guy, that
Jesse
he was
Jackson.
a part of it. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that he was a part of it, but I'm guessing that happened because was it more of like a black community or neighborhood that it happened in?
Ultimately, where he was caught was in a predominantly black and brown neighborhood. And some people think that, the reason why he was in that neighborhood was because the crime rate was so high, and it was the least likely for him to be caught when you're surrounded by a bunch of robberies and killings and this is at the height of the crack pandemic, epidemic.
Epidemic.
So everyone is worried about people being on AIDS, and there was a lot of shit going around to where Jeffrey Dahmer could slip under the radar, and he did that. So it comments about all of that. It touches on everything that happens, and I think it's very interesting. So I get it. You don't like the fact that it's romanticized, but this is Hollywood. Let's be real about this. This is Hollywood. Some of the most listened to podcasts are what? Serial killer podcasts and fucking all that bullshit that everyone fucking listens to. So they're gonna fucking do it. Like this is like, they're not gonna stop romanticizing this
Oh
shit.
no, they're not.
There's a huge market for this shit, and it's only getting bigger by the day. So yeah, it's gonna suck for a lot of people that were victims and people that were part of the victims' lives, but um I don't know. I find it interesting, so I'll watch it. Now, I didn't want to come on here and talk about this. Like I said, I didn't feel like this really warranted a platform, to be honest with you, because this is not what we talk about here. But if we're talking about it, then yeah, I'm gonna give you my opinions on it, and
Oh yeah, most stuff.
that's how I feel about it.
I think it's good to talk about because it does deal with film and Netflix and all this other stuff. We talk about streaming and films, and I understand that it's one of the top-notch shows in the market right now. I cannot deny the popularity of this show. It's like Stranger Things. Like I just cannot deny it. Like I know that people are watching this, but I must ask because I could probably say that you and several other people in the comment sections do this probably, but what do you think it is about these type of like films or series, sometimes even documentaries? I know Alex mentioned that he's seen so many documentaries that he's probably not going to watch the series because he already kind of seen the other documentaries about it. What is it about this that kind of resonates this idea on curiosity for it?
I don't want to speak for everyone, but I can
No,
speak
just your personal stuff.
for
And
my
anybody in the comment section, you can put in the comments why it is that these type of shows raise your curiosity.
because it's interesting. It's interesting to know. Again, I just find it. Now again, it's the same thing when it comes to me watching a docuseries about a startup company that goes bankrupt, or like the WeWorks type of thing, or like anyone from Silicon Valley that does a docuseries about how they scam people in a Ponzi scheme. Like all of that shit is interesting to me. The psychology of people getting over on other people and other people's stupidity in the midst of that. I think that again, the thing that always stood out to me, even from a young kid, it wasn't the fact that he was so sick. It was the fact that he was so sick and no one fucking got him until it was like 17 bodies later. How the fuck does that happen? I have to know how stupid the people were around him. The grandma, the dad, the dad's fucking girlfriend, the mom that was fucking damn near abusive to him and fucking left, the cops that were called multiple fucking times, the neighbors, the fucking, like, how was everyone so stupid? I have to know. That is so interesting to me. And that for me, it's fascinating. Like it's definitely fascinating to know how someone that was living in society that sick was just moving around, and just his demeanor. Like, what was his demeanor? Like, he was like the most normal looking guy just looking at him. But when you just had a conversation with him, you knew he was fucking off. You knew he was fucking crazy. Like, and that didn't set off any alarms, any bells. You had literally had people go to the police and say, yo, this guy tried to kill me. He literally held a knife to me and tried to kill me. By the grace of God, or whatever higher being you believe in, I escaped. And nothing was done.
And the
How
cops
does that
didn't do anything?
The cops didn't do a goddamn thing. How does that happen? How does that happen?
That's fucking crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
Going back to the comment sections, Robert says earlier, he put, to me, episode 6 can't hit me hard. Love that one. It was good with Tony Hughes. Are you familiar with what he's talking about? Are you at that episode?
I finished the entire thing. I'm not exactly sure what happened specifically in episode 6. But shit, man, the same way he feels about episode 6, I was blown away by every fucking episode. Like, I'm telling you, for me, it was that good. The acting was that good. I was blown away by every episode. Personally.
He also put, until this day, no memorial at the location. It's still just a patch of grass sitting there, and they do not mention it. They don't like talking about it. I'm not really familiar with what he's talking about. Maybe you do from the show. Do you remember anything like that or no? Something about a patch of grass, something where this guy was no memoriam or anything about him.
I just know that he buried
fucking 8 dudes, man.
Yeah, I know it's not that, but he definitely buried. He buried the hitchhiker dude, like in his lawn, and then he tried to dig up another guy that he read about in the paper. So it could. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I don't really know the names of the people that died. So Tony Hughes, I don't know who the fuck that is.
Vince Weaver then put, do you think they will ever make a movie series about the guy who shot the Dark Knight Theater? I don't know, man. fucking, I guess with the popularity of this one, a lot of people are going to be cramming at the idea of making murder movies, like on actual situations. All the thing is like with these type of films making this type of success and noise, all of those situations end up being on the block to be made.
Okay, so Tony Hughes was the deaf guy. So yeah, he was the deaf guy that I said about. Like
The
he
Traveler or
actually
something?
no, he was
Hitchhiker?
a no, he was
Okay.
he was an African American. He was a deaf guy. He couldn't hear.
Mhm.
So he was just writing everything and sign language everything. And he actually got a lot further than I had expected uh in um in like
In the
everyone else. 'Cause
situation.
everyone else just got drugged and then killed. He actually kind of had like a semi relationship with with Dahmer.
Oh wow.
And if it wasn't, and he actually, he got out, but he left his fucking keys, bro. He left his fucking keys and had to go back for his keys, and then that was it for him. So
Fuck.
yeah, that one was kind of like, damn, dude, like you made it out. Like you could tell, like when he originally was leaving, Jeffrey was on the edge of like snapping and killing him because he didn't want him to leave. And again, it's like, why was he doing this? And it comes to find out, Jeffrey just had an issue with people leaving him his entire life. His mom left him. He felt like his dad was never around. He never had control over people. People were always telling him what to do and what to say and what to eat and what to feel and all that shit. So the only thing he could control were the people that he was killing. So he just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And so this one guy, this deaf guy, he actually almost had like a relationship with them. And so after they finally, slept the night together, Jeffrey was like, well, when can I see you again? When can I see you again? And he was right on the edge of losing it because the thought of him losing another person he was about to snap, but the dude calmed Jeffrey down and was like, yo, I'll be back. I'll be back. And got out that he left, got out of the apartment, but he left his fucking keys, man.
Robert,
Holy
I guess he's
shit.
correlating to the idea of the Dark Knight Theater. Says, he feels like eventually they will make a film about it. And then they got to do one for Columbine. Now, there have been some films that have been adapted to that. I believe one of them was called White Rhino, which was maybe like 2 or 3 years after the Columbine incident. But I have to ask, do you ever think that there's like a certain time limit that needs to be kind of like respected for these people to mourn before someone goes off and like makes a film or something about these situations? Because like imagine right now he says, hopefully they do one of Columbine, which I mean that's horrible for someone to say, but I get it. Like they want to know about it. They want all the details given to them in storytelling. But that would be like me saying, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, well, next month they're gonna release a film of the Uvalde shooting, and the main guy's gonna be Ezra Miller or whatever the fuck. Like, they're gonna choose some actor to be him. Like, would that be? Would you feel like in the time? Because like me and my man, right? Even just talking about the idea of someone making a Columbine film, like in that seriousness, and then choosing like some popular actors to play it, I just feel like it's just, I don't know if it's the right time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's something that, everyone would have to struggle on their own. I personally, I have a different opinion about
Okay.
that. I went out to watch Fahrenheit 9/11, as did
Yes.
a lot of people did.
Yeah,
So
and that's because you're from that region in
I
that
don't know if
area.
I don't know if it's just from because I'm from that region. I think it would be actually harder for me to watch
Yeah,
it
that's
because
why.
I'm
That's why. And I'm saying
from that
that
region.
I'm saying that it would probably have been harder for you because you were right there.
Yeah. But yeah, I went out to watch it, and again, it's your own personal preference. I don't think anyone should, tell or look at someone different because they're interested to find out some information or find out, how someone told this story. Because again, when Fahrenheit 9/11 came out, a lot of people were like, yo, this is too soon. But it
Okay,
was one of Michael Moore's top selling fucking movies of all time. So
of course.
that was, you could give an argument that was too soon. So I don't know. I don't know.
When you went to see that film, how did you feel about it?
I was interested. I think that was like in the highlight of my conspiracy theory tin foil hat.
Tinfoil hat movements.
Yeah, like zone. So that was right up my fucking alley. And I actually knew people that passed away
Passed away with
in one of the towers. So again, I can me personally, I can detach myself from my personal feelings if I find something is interesting to watch. I don't know how cold-hearted that sounds, but that's just me.
Robert says it's interesting, and people like to get into the mind and think, like, what were those people thinking? I guess that's what he's assuming, that people would watch these films or be curious about it. Gabe, what's up, Gabe? Welcome to the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Says we're living in a time where society is fascinated with villains and shuns heroes. By any chance, in this story of Dahmer in the thing, do we have some type of acknowledgement of someone who tried or was kind of like the hero, or someone who was out there like championing the idea to stop this gentleman?
Well, yeah, again, the neighbor, his next door neighbor was the only one that knew. Like she knew that there was something going on. And even when it comes to, she doesn't even come off as a hero, so to say, because it's more of them touching on the fact that she was a black woman in a black neighborhood that just was not listened to because she was black in a black neighborhood. So it's not more of them romanticizing that she was the hero, but more of a sad story that this lady was telling these white police officers about her white neighbor that was basically chopping them up and eating them for months, and
No one
nothing,
believed her.
and no one believed her. So it's not even her about being her, like being a hero. It's about how pathetic things were back then. And that's what that was.
Gabe also says it's like the same effect that people are obsessed with cartel shows. Yeah, you're not lying, man. People are really, really about that shit. Robert then says they wanted to do like a memorial for the victims and they never did anything. Vince says his girlfriend loves the series and that it's an interesting series. Robert then says Tony was the deaf guy. Okay, he was reiterating his conversation on who Tony was. And then Vince says, after watching the series, I think what would have happened to Dahmer if he survived from the guy in jail. Now, what happened to him in jail?
So he got killed in jail. There was a guy that he had static with for a while since he had been in jail, and the guy, there's suspicion that the guards had this kind of setup. Because don't forget to mention, not only was he killing African Americans, which was predominantly, like, the jail was predominantly African American, but he was also a pedophile. So the cards weren't stacked up against Dahmer and general population when he got to jail. So, but no, he was on some like detail with the guy that it was known that he had static with, and one thing led to another, and then the guy ended up beating Jeffrey Dahmer to death in jail.
Is that kind of like a part in the series, or is it more like focusing on his life outside of jail?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
The majority of it is focused.
It's like literally like the entire life, like all the way to his death situation in jail.
Yeah, it does. It touches on it. It touches on that as well, but the majority of it obviously is just his time outside of jail. But yeah, I'm thinking what would have happened if the guy in the handcuffs never escaped? How long would he have gone? Fuck him dying in jail, because that was probably going to happen regardless. But like once you're in jail, like the shit was over. But what about the guy that ended up actually getting him caught? Like he probably would have never gotten caught.
So,
like that. That's the
how
weird
did Jeffrey Dahmer get caught in the series or in reality? How did
he got sloppy? He got sloppy. And he even says it. He was like, it started getting so easy that the reason why he wasn't doing it more often than what he was because he was afraid that he'd get caught. But then when he realized that once it got so easy for him to do, it just amplified things, and he started doing it more and more often.
Oh.
So he had this one guy, that he picked up from a bar, and he put handcuffs on him and was going to start like taking photos of him, but then ended up pulling a knife on him, and the guy just he wasn't having it, so he fought back. Ended up fighting his way out of the apartment and running to the police station. and then gets the police to come back to the apartment. They were just gonna do like a subtle check because they didn't believe the black guy. They didn't believe him at all. But then Jeffrey Dahmer left some of the photos that he took from his victims out, and they saw it.
Oh shit! This guy was
And
he was just had it out in the open.
he had it out in the open,
Wow.
and some of them were mutilated pictures, like bodies without heads, bodies without pieces of their sides. And the cops are looking at this like, oh shit, this is real.
Oh, fuck.
So they locked him up right there on the spot. Yeah.
God damn. So shit. Okay, so I gotta ask. Okay, well, Robert put he would F them, or he would F with them, and then he was eating them, and then jail sucking on bones. Saying tasty. I don't know. I don't even want to read that comment, Robert. That's a lot of crazy shit. I don't want to read.
So yeah, I can kind of clean that up.
Yeah, clean that up for me, man.
I can clean it up. So basically what happened was when he was in jail, he would like arrange his food in the shape of bodies and take ketchup and like smear ketchup on the food that he was eating. And people would see that, get grossed out, and that's where the little bit of static came from the guy that ended up killing him, because he just thought Dahmer was the scum of the scum. Now, this guy was in jail for murder as well, but he was like, well, you're worse than I am, so I got a problem with you.
Got to do it.
So they were on some type of like cleaning detail. Dahmer and some other guy, they were messing with the black inmate, like poking them with like a mop or something, and that's all that it took. So once Dahmer and his buddy like split and went on like opposite sides of the cleaning detail, he went to Dahmer and beat his ass with a fucking with like a weight bell or something, then goes over to the other guy and beats him to death too. So the guy who ended up killing Dahmer killed Dahmer and another guy as well.
What was the thing with the other guy?
He just didn't like the way he looked at him because he laughed. Like
that's understandable.
At that
It's
point,
jail. Yeah,
at that point, everyone's getting. Yeah, at that point, y'all all dying. Yeah, y'all all dying. Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta ask. This is for you and everybody else in the comment section. Critics are craving that this is a 58%. Audience is saying it's a 90%. What would your rating be? Scale of 1 to 10. This is for you and everybody in the comment section. How you guys feel?
I mean, again, it sounds really shitty to say, but I'm giving this like a 9.5, bro.
No,
this shit, they're blowing.
Do you feel like it gives a better understanding of the whole scenario? Better than documents and documentations and documentaries and stuff?
Now, see, I thought for me, I knew everything I needed to know about Jeffrey Dahmer, but this raised it. Like it showed me things that I didn't. Now, when I was watching the Jeremy Renner one last week, I didn't learn anything new. Like I didn't learn anything new. This one, it dives into way more things. Again, it dives into the social climate, which I'm an African American, so of course it's going to appeal to me. So like it may not appeal to a lot of people, but for me, it definitely did. So just to know the incompetence of the like you guys could have stopped this a long time ago. There were so many opportunities for this to end, and it just didn't. So weird, yo.
So we got a 9, a 4, a 9, and a 9 out of 10. So it looks like you're the smaller amount, Vince. Sorry, man. Looks like this is a pretty good show in the eyes of many people. So maybe I have to give it a try sooner or later, man. I'll really have to
listen. Don't force yourself, dude, because you're gonna hate it. Again, if you're not into it for the for the reasons that you're in, then which are valid, dude. Like if you would have gave me some bullshit answers to why you wouldn't watch this, like I wouldn't understand. But you give some very solid reasons as to why you wouldn't watch it. And as someone that is a fan of this type of thing, I would probably suggest you not watching this. You're not gonna probably like the show, dude.
I mean, but it's interesting in the way you say it, and then the comment of this lady put that it's focusing on the systemic failures. You know, that's interesting. That's something that doesn't glorify the character. I do understand that the character itself will be talked about and shown, and they'll have to monstrosize this person more and more and more to make you really, really feel it. But I might just have to sit down and really watch it to understand it.
Yeah,
because it's something that like I can say like I know about the Dahmer files and case, but It's something in the sense of like maybe there's things that aren't explained or told through words or through my iteration on how I read it and can be better explained through visual consumption. So maybe it's something. I do get, there was a good question that was asked earlier by Vince, actually, of course. Who do you think was the worst killer in history besides Dahmer? Hitler. I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, you could fucking Hitler. Hitler tried to eradicate a whole ass fucking person, dude. Whole ass people. So, I mean,
it's kind of hard to go against him. Yeah, I have no other answer to combat that. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I mean, I understand what he's
hard.
asking. He's asking like an individual person.
Yeah, I know. If
Who-
if I were to say someone, I would say probably Ted Bundy. Personally, I think that what he was doing, again, it's like the balls of some of them and what they were doing. It's cringe. Ted Bundy was killing people in like broad daylight. He was abducting people in broad daylight. Like the one chick that got away, that was in broad daylight. He tried to abduct her and like handcuffed her to the steering wheel in broad daylight, try to kill her. Like that's ballsy, dude. And if someone will do that, they'll do that to anybody. That's the scary part. Like,
Oh, dude,
Dahmer,
okay. So George says, if you watched You, this is chill.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't
And
know about
I've
that.
seen You, and You was a very interesting show.
Think of You, but just mad.
Yeah, but it's real.
And
Yeah.
not only it, just think of You, but like mad dudes being on top of each other. Like I'm saying, it's so like different and so like edgy and just a different take on something you thought you knew. It's just it goes for it, man. It goes for it. And again, I hats off to all the actors and actresses that are in this show. They did a phenomenal job. I think this had to have been hard. Like for Evan Peters, this could not have been an easy role
No,
to
I
get
understand
to
And
do
you see,
at
like
all.
George makes a pretty good comment here, and he goes, "I think it's kind of weird with this thing when women and men romanticize these historic persons, like the Daddy Bundy stuff. Like that's kind of correlating with what I was saying earlier, where you end up getting people that are like putting memes up of some of these people and being like, "Oh, Daddy can strangle me any day" or whatever. I kind of feel like that's grotesque because like it wasn't too long ago that I think like maybe 2 weeks ago, a lady went running at 4:30 in the morning and was kidnapped, raped, beaten to death, or strangled to death. And that there in some way, this romanticizes the idea that those people get away with these kind of thing, or they think that that's like a normality.
But do you think that's a large group of people though?
No,
Do you think a
fuck
large
no.
group of people are doing that? So it's like
No,
I
and
get what
that's
you
that, that
I get
also
what you're
goes with
I
the
get what you're
handful of
saying.
people that have been murderers or
That's what I'm
convicted
saying.
serial killers and stuff.
Like I
That's why
get what
there's
you're
no
saying.
memoriam.
I get what
That's
you're
why you
saying,
remember.
but like that's a very small amount of people that are doing that. Like it's like the people that are trying to be funny on fucking Instagram and shit like that. But like I would never do some shit like that. That was like a woman, serial killer. Like it's a very small, and that's gonna go with any group or anything that happens. You're gonna get a very small amount of people that aren't gonna take it as serious. And so when it comes to that particular stuff, I don't really look at it too differently. Like
Yeah, the it's going to be a very niche thing. Like, do we really take into consideration that these people that are like George says, like the Daddy Bundy people, like, do we really think that they're about that life? No. A lot of those people have never been in a life-threatening situation or been assaulted or had a situation happen where they needed to defend themselves, and they don't understand the gravitas or the trauma that follows those types of situations. My thing was like, can you imagine how hard it is for like the people that are a part of the families of the people that had been brutally murdered by this person Dahmer, and then they get to see all of these weird kids that act like they're gothic emo loving vampire kids that are
let me ask
claiming
you a
they're
question.
princess. Shoot, bro.
If they got the proceeds from this money, let's say that the people that made this movie split 50% of the proceeds that they made from
To
this
the
movie
families, that'd be
to the
amazing.
families, would that make a difference to you? Would
I
that
mean,
would
that
that
would be
make it
amazing. You would think that would be a thing already. You know what I mean? Like you would think that they would have to ask permission to use
what
those.
I'm asking, does that change your perspective on them making the movies? in making the shows?
Well, that's a good question because you're saying, hey, we're making this film and we're giving the proceeds to these families because we want to educate people, on the wrongdoings, and we want to make sure that these people understand
Take
that.
that out of it, because they could just, if I'm paying you, I don't gotta say any of that shit. I'm just paying them so I can make this movie, period. Like, to take that out of it, does that change your perspective on whether or not it's appropriate for them to make this movie?
Well, not if they're just paying them because they want to fucking make $1. I don't give a shit about that.
Okay.
What I care is like if they care about the families. I care about humanity. I care about people. The reason why I don't like this shit is because I genuinely hate to see another human get hurt, and to know that this is how people died. Like, you only get this blink of existence to experience the gift of life, and then for it to be taken in such a horrific way, and it not be like you're like that's it, like that's what you got, that was your experience, like, and us not have something guaranteed to us in the end, like that sucks.
I'm only asking because you're looking at it from, or you're saying that you're looking at it from the perspective that, these family members that have went
sucks
through
for 'em.
this, it's gonna suck for them. Well, I'm saying, well, if you give them money, does that change your perspective on that? Because like, it's
Everybody
one
gets
thing,
paid.
it's
Everybody
one
gets paid.
thing, it's one thing if they're just making it and then the families aren't getting shit, which is probably fucking happening. But if they were getting compensation and they were signing off on it,
If they
it,
finally,
it,
if
is
that's on
that
them
cool?
though. If they sign off on it, that's on them. Like that's understandable. Like that's their responsibility as people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's them. But that's like saying like, oh well, if I made a movie about someone with cancer, and I just gave them money because I was going to use their name, not because I want to genuinely educate people and bring awareness to cancer. What sounds better? Like which one sounds better? Which one would
I
make
know
you
which
be
one
like?
sounds better, but in this case,
But
we're
in
talking
this
about
case, yeah.
in this case, we're talking about a serial killer. We're not talking about somebody that has cancer. We're talking about a serial killer here. What kind of education are you giving us besides the fact that he was eating spleen and fucking livers? Like,
Well, like we said
there's really no
earlier, like,
educational thing.
they're
I mean, the
talking
only,
about the systemic failures of the society at the time.
but then
They're
that doesn't
educating
have.
people of that, and telling people like we need to be better.
But then, what does that have to do with the families? Then, if that's the case, if they're telling us about that, then that has nothing to do with the families. Then
Because
they
they
don't.
were the ones that had to go through this horrible trauma.
I guess I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
it's understanding. Like the thing is we know that for the likenesses of their family members, they're going to have to be paid. At least the people that are guardians or direct descendants or whatnot to those people. Is the company themselves going to be like, yo, 50% of the proceeds of Netflix is going to go to these people? No, they're not going to do that shit. Are they going to make them? Are they going to make a memoriam for the people? Probably not. But the neighborhoods and the city and people and foundations will probably come together to create something for at least some type of memoriam, because this show at least educated them in the situation and the traumas of what these people experience.
I would love to see it, but the reality is,
People are weird.
this guy died in '97, bro.
Yeah, if
And
they
the
hadn't done
murder,
anything yet, like
yeah,
why now?
This guy died when I was fucking what 15. So it's like,
Yeah, you had to
if
be like
it,
what, a sophomore or junior? No,
yeah,
freshman or sophomore.
it was I was probably a
Yeah,
freshman
because I
or
was gonna say
freshman or
I think I
sophomore.
want to say I was a junior in 97. I graduated in 99. So 97, 98. Yeah, 97, 98 was like junior year. So rating? 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
I said 9.5.
9.5. Good. George then, so Vince says, if every horror character had to fight to the death,
Freddy Krueger.
who would be the last ones? Freddy Krueger?
Oh, you said serial killer or horror?
Yeah,
No, he's a
he's talking
horror
about
character.
horror character.
Yeah,
Now
Freddy
we're
Krueger.
stepping into a whole new fictional character. If every horror character had to fight to the death, who would be the last one standing?
Freddy Krueger.
What about
You know how I feel about that. Like that's my numero uno guy,
your
dude.
dude,
So
man.
that's my guy. So
Yo, like, well, what about like a xenomorph? Would a xenomorph be technically a horror?
xenomorph?
Yeah, that was the thing. Like,
A
there was the thing.
xenomorph? A xenomorph?
Aliens was
A
technically
xenomorph cannot. Yo,
sci-fi and horror film.
bro, I've seen fucking a predator get rid of xenomorphs at will. Like that's like their thing.
Does a
Is that they
xenomorph dream?
probably everything dreams. That's the whole beauty. Everything dreams, bro.
That's a good question. It's a good thing. Okay, so you're Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Gabe says Jason Voorhees.
it's a bitch.
Why, dude? Why? Didn't we have a Freddy versus Jason film already?
Yeah, we did.
What did you think of that film?
I loved it because, well,
Nah, no, you
no,
can't yet.
no, no. It's a horrible movie, but I loved it. I actually bought that movie.
It's a good movie. It's fun.
I actually stole it from Blockbuster. It's probably like one of the last movies I ever got from Blockbuster. I
Fuck
just
yeah,
never.
fuck you, Blockbuster. We
I
got your
just- we got your shit. Yes, definitely.
Chucky.
Bro.
Okay, we got a Chucky.
Chucky's a bitch too. All right, so we gotta. All right, this is
Yeah,
not
we
gonna.
get to Ezra. Ezra Miller is my fucking villain, dude.
There is no way you could tell me that Chucky is a fucking a worthy opponent. He's fucking 3 foot high. He's like 3 feet. Once he's off of his feet, which I don't understand how he gets like some people in such bad situations when he's off it. When you're holding him like this, he has no leverage on you. Like he has no power on you. How is that possible, bro?
Yo, Michael Myers. No, was it? No, Jason Voorhees almost got clicked by a boxer in New York.
Yeah, bro. Jason's a
He's lucky
Jason's
he
a
got that swing,
punk.
dude. He's
Michael
lucky he got that one
Myers-
punch on him.
Michael Myers is a clown.
That's a good
Fucking
ass question, though, man. Who out of
Leprechaun.
all the horror films would be the one on top?
I would put Leprechaun before Michael Myers and Jason
Leprechaun's a
Voorhees.
little shit, dude.
He's a fucker, yo. He's a little fucker,
a little
bro.
motherfucker, dude. He's a menace, dude.
He's a fucking
He's a
menace.
little menace, dude. Yeah.
Hell
Yo, I
yeah.
was a real big fan of Puppet Master, man.
It's a
Puppet
little
Master
bit.
series. I don't
It's a
think they
little
would
bit
be
too
able to
serious.
be
You know what it
kicking him
is?
around and shit.
You know what it is? It's the reason why I like Nightmare on Elm Street, bro, is because it didn't take itself too seriously, bro.
Yeah,
and I like that.
He was like a jokester, like he was
Exactly. Like I like to laugh. It made me laugh and it gave me jump scares at the same time, bro. Like that's fucking amazing. You got to go to like Jason in Space for that chick just because it was a horrible fucking movie and laugh at
Jason in
it.
Space was fucking bad, dude.
But like Nightmare on Elm Street, he'll make you laugh as he's torturing somebody.
That was literally like Jason versus Andromeda, the series, because it was like the entire fucking cast of that television show.
Yeah.
The girl that plays Bo-Katan is actually in that film.
Really.
Yeah, she's the fucking chick that fights Jason Voorhees. Like that's wild as shit. But no, it's a good question. Damn good question. Who would be mine? Vigo the Destroyer, dude, from Ghostbusters 2.
From Ghostbusters, huh?
Yeah, Vigo was a fucking G.
It's
man.
not a horror character. It's not a horror movie.
He's a ghost. I mean, he's
not a horror character. You're stretching here, bro.
Yeah. Oh, Pumpkinhead.
It's a bum.
Bum.
He's a bum.
Jeez, bro.
He's a
Toxic
bum.
Avenger, man.
He's a bum.
Jeez.
He's
I
a
wouldn't
fucking
even know,
bum.
man, because like off the top of my head, I really don't like. There's such like a niche, like the Jeepers Creepers guy. Like, can you really? Put
That's
the
a
Jeepers
worthy
Creepers-
opponent.
Is he? You think so?
I think so.
Do you think if you put him against like a
He was a
Michael
mo-
Myers or
he was
Jason
a
Voorhees, he can
motherfucker.
kind of swing it? Yeah,
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 he
he's
was
got
a-
power, right?
Yeah, he's a motherfucker. He was strong as fuck, bro.
And he just be stealing body parts, dude. Just right off of just random ass kids like in the streets and
yeah.
shit. That's
Hell yeah.
pretty. Yeah, that's pretty legit, man. I'm not gonna lie. I heard that the new one is so, dude. Candyman.
But which one? The new one or the old one?
The old one was scary as fuck, dude. Did you see the new one?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Reluctantly, and I saw it like 2 months ago. I waited so long to not see it. I didn't like it, and I like everyone in that movie, but I did not like. I did not like
Man,
it.
the old school fucking dude, Candyman fucked me up as a kid, man.
The story was stupid. Like it's like a continuation of the old one.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Have
No,
you seen
I
the
haven't
new
seen
one?
the new one.
It's just like a continue. It's not. It's sort of a continuation, but not a continuation. It takes from like the old lore and it takes the characters from the new one and makes a new. It's really stupid.
Does the original Candyman come out of it? The actor?
I think he does at the end.
But does he portraying like just a regular dude, or is he like the Candyman?
No, I think he's like Candyman, if I'm not mistaken. I think he does come out in.
Yo, what about
new
the
one.
entire fucking cast of 13 Ghosts, man? That fucking film you hate the shit out of.
What are you talking about? I love that fucking movie.
love that
No,
movie, dude.
fucking.
Oh, it was fucking D that hated it, right?
It was D
Yeah,
that hates that fucking movie.
hated that film, dude. I'll
Yeah.
never forget that shit. That's the greatest fucking comeback story of all time, dude. We'll fucking do a Christmas story. We'll do Christmas films, and I'll still put 13 Ghosts in that goddamn list.
I was
dude.
gonna say like 13 Ghosts was cool. I like that movie. D hates that movie. I don't even think he saw it. He just knows about it and just doesn't he just doesn't get it.
I
And honestly,
really-
it's a
I
bad movie. Like it's a really bad movie.
Fucking fantastic fucking story.
No, it's a bad movie.
The graphics suck ass.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a bad movie, but the premise of it is what gets you.
That's like really straight up like CG straight to laser disc. Like yeah, it's fucking trash, dude. Like, but the story
I'll watch it.
Itself,
I'll watch it.
I also watch the fuck out
I'll
of
watch it.
I'll never forget like how everything was set up and all the characters were fucking scary as shit. And then like at the end, he just falls in a fucking grinding pit and just like blows up into chunks. And I was like, that's it. Like, what's up with the walls of this place? It's all fucked. This house sucks, man. Like, in my mind, I think that's one of the most slept on stories, and I think that series deserves a Netflix series.
You should do that, yo.
You
should pitch that. You should pitch that to somebody, bro.
Pitch that. I
honestly think that would do well. Like, I think there's probably a big enough niche audience that will just watch it just to watch it, and then if it's good, you'll get like a lot of new followers. Bro.
And you can get like literally straight up, like just on the number itself, you can get 13 episodes,
13 episodes, or 13 seasons. 13 seasons too.
Oh,
like, you can stretch up 13 seasons.
Years of this shit.
Yo, fuck it. Fuck it, bro.
I really think that it would be cool because you would get an origin story for each one of the characters, and then you make a 14th episode or a 15th, and that be the last storytelling of bringing them back and doing like the apocalypse or whatever. That would be pretty cool. I think it's very well worth it. I think 13 Ghosts is probably one of the worst. I think the Juggernaut was probably like the scariest fucking thing in the Jackal.
No, you know who really scared the fuck out of me? It was the chick, bro. Yeah, the chick scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, yo, she scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, that was.
She was just weird looking.
The one that I thought was cool as fuck was
was it dude? What was the thing with the cage on his fucking head?
Yeah, the Jackal.
The Jackal. That was the Jackal, right?
That's the Jackal. Yeah, that's the Jackal. That shit was scary as fuck. The man-child, that was
he wasn't scary though.
Yeah, he was kind of weird.
The fat dude with the mom, right? With the short mom and all that shit.
Yeah, the one that kind of was like I thought was a pretty badass character that I would want to see in a film was the high school kid with the baseball bat.
With the baseball bat, yeah.
I was like, yo, that's like Ghost Story of Ghost Rider right there, dude. That's like that has so much potential. The entire series had so much potential, all of it. But the Juggernaut was the real big motherfucker, the strong one, and that was the one that I was like, yo, this guy's a runner up for like a Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees just by himself.
And you can't see him too. That's what makes him real fucking scary. Like unless you have one of those like the glasses that they fucking had and shit like that, you couldn't see him.
They were working with the virtual reality
glasses. The fucking the VR glasses and shit. Yeah.
Pinocchio's Revenge, dude. Jack Frost versus the gingerbread man. Robert, stop, dude. Stop. That's funny. All righty, dude. Onwards to the next one. Guys, if you haven't seen it, Dahmer is a series. It is how many episodes?
I don't know, 9, 10. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I was just watching it.
A 10-episode series on Netflix right now. It's probably ranked number 1. If you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out.
If you're into that kind of stuff,
yeah. If you're into
that kind of stuff, yeah.
Crime series based on reality, go check it out. Highly recommended show. Onwards to the next one. Let's go ahead and recap. She-Hulk. All right. Did you get to see the new episode?
I did, sir. I have.
I'm drinking Mountain Dew. I know Vince asked what I'm drinking. Mountain Dew pineapple flavor.
I'm currently without a beverage.
And now I'm moving over to water because I need water. We got She-Hulk episode 6. The series right now on Disney Plus. Marvel. What do you guys think so far? Brian, how are you liking the She-Hulk's episodes?
Dude,
anyone in the comment section, how are you liking it?
Listen, I love it. I know it's getting shit on a lot from a lot of people, but I love it. I'm just gonna say it, man. I love it, man.
What do you like about it so much? I must ask.
I told you, I love the fact that it's light. I don't have to take it too serious. I like the fact that it has a sense of humor. It's got a soul. Like, yeah, it may not be adding to any of the bigger scheme of things just yet. But I mean, I like it. I'm having fun. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you're not gonna give me something that's gonna blow my socks off, seriously, then give me something that's fun. You know what I'm saying? Give me something that's fun that I don't have to take too serious. And that's what they're giving me. They're giving me one out of the two, so I can appreciate that. You know,
I think it's cool because we have a little bit of like a diverse mentality here. I'm not really digging the show too crazy, but I do want to get your interpretation on how you're liking it because for me, it's about enjoyment. If you're enjoying the show, I want to hear why.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not really enjoying it, so I'm not really going to give it too much of my attention or too much of this and that, but I'll be able to tell you why I'm not really digging it. But, you know, there are some things that are fun. We get to see, of course, the CG was a lot better in this episode.
Yeah.
I really, really think so. We had the introduction of Mr. the Immortal Man, which is another interesting kind of risque character that Marvel is bringing out, which I thought was kind of cool. Knowing that they're bringing him out here means they're probably not going to bring him out in a serious film, which that's fine. Marvel has a million characters that they can kind of mess with and put in all these weird shows. So it was cool to see him in one, and it's a really interesting iteration of him too. But tell me about your pros and cons of the series so far, or about this episode, and then we'll talk about the series.
My pros was that I got my action, I got my fight scene, which it was kind of lackluster. You know what I liked? I did like the part where the other lawyer and the secretary,
The assistant,
yeah, with the what was his name?
the Immortal Man.
The immortal man. That was funny to me. Like, I enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed that entire thing with him and his ex-wives and him faking his death, and that was good. Like, that was good. You know what I'm saying? So that was a bright spot.
Okay.
And I liked the portrayal of like the asshole friend bride, and that I'm sorry, but that dress that she had on,
It was
her bridal,
fucking atrocious.
that
dude.
bridal
was like
dress,
puked
yo,
up,
and
dude.
that got a pop out of me, bro. Like, I laughed like when she showed up. When she showed up with the dress, I just started
That was
dying
so
laughing. Like, yo,
crap.
what the fuck is that?
It looked like an Amish dress.
Yo, bro, it looks
It's
so
so bad.
horrible. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Is like, bro, if you could make me pop like that, like, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm like, you know what, you got that. You got that.
Okay. What about the things you might have not liked?
Again, it seems more of a filler episode.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it is going anywhere. But you know what? They actually talked about it in the beginning of the episode. Like, she's like, bro, this is just a wedding scene, a wedding episode that seems to be just thrown in a show at the wrong time. And guess what? You're right, but we're doing it anyway because,
Okay.
you know, I'm doing
It's
it.
very
So
meta
again,
commentary when she does that.
they're even making fun of the fact that it's a filler episode, and they know they're going to be schmucks like me that says, hey, this is a filler episode, and they don't care. They're making fun of it. It's great, yo.
Okay. Well, for me, like I said, I thought the CG was a lot better. It was cool that we got a lot more time with Titania on scene. The comedy was a little bit more natural. It felt fun in this one. And I did like the organic build up for that gentleman that came up to Jen and was kind of like talking to her.
Mhm.
It felt a little bit more natural than the way they had been forcing her into like these weird relationships and other ones that just felt kind of weird casual. This one actually felt like genuine. And it was pretty nice. It was cool. Yeah, other than that, it just felt very disconnected from even the series itself. And the reason why I say that is because, like you said at the very beginning, the Jen's character comes out and says, "Oh, look, a risque wedding episode that doesn't really matter. So, but we're gonna do it anyway. So come on with the journey or whatever." But at the same time, it's like this literally came out of like nowhere in this series, and right now we're episode 6 of 9, I believe. We only have 3 more episodes, and I really don't know what they're trying to do by introducing this character to the Marvel landscape. Like, so far, I really don't see a necessity, but I just see it, like you said, like it is a filler, but it's a really big filler. Like, it's an extremely big filler of it not even like correlating to anything. Like, I don't really just see this in any part of the MCU landscape, except if it was just like, hey, you know what? Like, this is what happens over there, like somewhere like not in the landscape of the pathway of the story we're trying to convey with the Marvel universe. So, I mean, other than that, it was well, like even with that, like the hints of the leader being the antagonist in the near future, like I don't feel that. I didn't feel that at all in this. the Titania story, like Titania, like we talked about this offline, and you made the funniest fucking comment, which is like, dude, no one gives a fuck about Titania.
Nobody
Which,
cares about Titania, and you're
Yeah.
trying to be all serious, like I don't like the way she's being portrayed. Yo, fuck out of here,
Well,
bro. No
this
one
is-
cares about Titania, bro.
This is 100% what I said about Moon Knight.
Oh god,
Moon Knight, no one gives a fuck about Moon Knight. People that like Moon Knight don't give a fuck that big about Moon Knight.
there
But
is a
Marvel-
there is a way bigger fandom for fucking Moon Knight than there is fucking Titania, bro.
No, there's not. I'm gonna. Well, now there is.
I
but
know.
I will totally.
I have
say
went
no.
years. I have gone years without picking up a comic, and yes, I'm not familiar with Moon Knight. But if you put him in front of me and asked me who this was, I could have always told you, "Yo, that's fucking Moon Knight." You put Titania in front of me, I might not be able to know who the fuck
but
she
she's
is,
just
bro.
a side character. Moon Knight's like an actual like they gave him a comic book line.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a given. But the idea is, can you name an arc that Moon Knight has been in? Because I can name you at least two off the top of my head.
No.
One being Secret Wars, which is probably the biggest comic book line out of like the 80s or whatnot. And then of course there's Sphere itself, and then there's of course that she's married to Creel, which is the Absorbing Man. Like she's a player. She's a player in the game, but she's like the Wrecking Crew type of player. Like they're just like thrown in there just to do. But then again, She-Hulk isn't that big of a character also. Like she's just there for lady parts in boys comics. You know what I mean? Like that's just what She-Hulk was controlled for or used for back in the day. I don't know how I don't know how myself how I'm liking the way that they're portraying Titania to be like. It was a really silly set. This was a silly episode. Like their fight scene outside.
All right, let me
It
stop
was
you right
good,
there.
though.
This is bullshit because since the first episode,
Mhm.
we knew that Titania was not the same
Oh
Titania.
fuck yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Well, at this point, bro, like I don't understand why you're still surprised. Like you knew that she's a socialite superhero that just does corny, stupid, funny one-liners, and that's what she's gonna be, bro. Like
But
that's
is that what the Marvel is trying to portray? Like that the universe is about? Like we just had this idea that you know what, like comedy's not too bad when it's put in there organically and correctly, but like Thor: Love and Thunder like suffered atrociously from being like way too like dumb. In this past episode,
I will argue that. I rewatched it not too long ago. It's not it has its funny moments, but it also does have its serious moments as well. Like I don't hate people, but you lose me when you talk about, oh, well, they don't take this movie too serious. Yo, 30%, 40% of a movie is about a chick with fucking terminal cancer, bro.
I don't feel
what
that.
What are we talking about? It's a serious thing. It's a very serious topic, and they do show the emotion about that. Yes, it's going to have its stupid moments. It's a fucking Taika Waititi movie with fucking Chris Hemsworth. It's gonna have its funny, stupid shit that you may get and you may not get. But that movie had as much seriousness as any other fucking MCU movie that's out there.
Well, right now in this phase, yeah, right now in this phase.
But anyway, we don't got to get on that because we can talk about that for like another like fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, we'll fucking tear into that movie again for another fucking 5 hours, dude.
And I only got but so many talking points where I could defend it. So yeah,
you're gonna have like 3 talking points.
Yeah, I only got like 3 talking points. So I don't want to use them all up. Yeah.
It's just gonna be like, hey man, that guy made the Ragnarok, and I'm like, oh, you're not wrong, man. Ragnarok's good, and then we're gonna talk about Ragnarok being good. But okay, going back, like the Hulk, like. The Titania fight scene like was good, and then she just ends up getting her fucking teeth knocked out. And I was like, man, this is the way this is gonna end. And then like she's vomiting in the fucking thing, and then she just like literally leaves with the cake. That was funny as fuck though. Like when she's like, I'm about, so I'm gonna take the cake, bye, and she just takes with the cake. I was like, what the fuck is this show, man? But it wasn't until like the fucking chick came in, and the fucking. With the marriage, well, the wife or whatever, the bride comes in and she sees it and she's like, She-Hulk's at my wedding. And I was like, oh my God, this show, man.
That was the one part that kind of annoyed me because like you knew she was
that whole girl like annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, you knew she was dude. They got me twice. They got me twice when they finally showed Jen, the person who she's gonna walk down the
The dog and
highway
shit?
with, and someone says in the background, well, yeah, we just resuscitated him this morning. Yo, I fucking lost it. I fucking lost it.
Dude, she got shit on this whole episode. That character got shit on so bad this whole episode. She had to fucking clean up all the dishes. They fucking made her iron all the clothes. Like, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you even still here?
Just resuscitated him this morning. I'm
The
like,
dog's
oh
got his
my
tongues kicking out and shit. The dog's just like one of those ugly ass chihuahuas and stuff.
oh shit.
I'm not gonna lie, like the episode
That was
did
funny,
have its
yo.
comedy parts.
That
man.
was funny, bro.
It did
That
have
was
its
funny.
knocks, man. It really did. I like the fact that they kind of showed like, okay, cool. Like Titania does have some umph behind her.
Yeah.
Like she's able to kind of throw down a little bit. But I don't know. Like it just seems like there's a part of me that feels like this story is written by a girl that liked to play with Barbies, but like to give them superpowers. Like and have them fight like the way we would play with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys or whatever, like just smashing them together and having stuff because it's very like it does have that really girly essence to it, and then all of a sudden they just start smacking each other down, and then all of a sudden they're like holding each other's hair while they vomit into the toilet and shit.
I mean, there's room for it.
There's room for it.
There's room for it. So fuck it, why not?
For
So
me, it's one
let
of
me
those
ask you.
things-
So let me ask you a question. There was another part. Because the people that are listening, they get it. You not so much big on it. I'm very big on it.
It's
They get that
understandable.
part. Who do you did you see the part where at the end, like the very last scene, where there was a I don't know, like a message sent to a team that was noted as being written by the Hulk King? Did you see that part?
Oh yeah. So what's up with that? Like that's kind of interesting.
That's what I'm saying. So like there's certain things that they keep you
Kind of
hanging on, that there is eventually going to be some type of
Something.
payoff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's that guy Todd, bro. I think it's Todd, dude. I think it's Todd, the guy that we were talking about last week. You know, the guy that just randomly showed back up in the date.
But why hulking?
I don't know, because maybe he wants to steal her blood and become a Hulk.
And he's calling himself a king, like the way like it's kind of used nowadays, like yo, what's up, king, and stuff like that, like the Chad kind of talk.
I guess. Like the Chad kind of talk. No, I think that's the reason why he was asking her all these questions about what kind of power she has, because he's planning on stealing her blood and becoming a Hulk.
Okay, I can see that.
Or you know, it could be the leader. You know, it could be all the people that we theorized. Everyone that we theorized last week, it could be one of them. But yeah, I mean, it's getting closer and closer to the point where we're going to find out who is behind trying to take Jen's blood. Now, if you're looking for any point of serious, like super seriousness to where this show is ever going to take itself seriously, I don't think you're ever going to get that. No. Like the point of no return has already come and gone.
Yeah, we're already.
We know what this show is. We're never going to get that seriousness.
So does this kind of give you any type of concern? And this goes out to anybody in the comment section too, and anybody that's listening, for the Daredevil entrance, because of course we're coming off the cusp of Daredevil being on Netflix, it literally being one of like the crown jewels of what a series in what Marvel should be making. You know what I mean? Like, how do we feel it coming into a series that's been handling itself like the way it has been?
You're going to have to detach yourself from it, because the one thing that I have learned through just people reporting on it and people covering it, the one thing Kevin Feige hates more than not making $1 billion is being associated with anything that the Netflix has done with the Marvel brand on it.
Man, and that's because that was the pinnacle of what they could do.
Yeah, he hates everything that is associated with Netflix. So he may cherry pick some of the characters from the Netflix shows because he can, but being the same characters, I don't think we'll get that.
Who do you hope we get?
Well, we know that we're getting Kingpin. We know we're getting Daredevil. We know that we're getting
a new Elektra.
We're getting Elektra. Hopefully, we're getting John Bernthal as Punisher. I can see Iron Fist coming back. I don't know if they may recast him, but we may get the same actor that played Iron Fist. So they're all coming back, but they're not going to be the same characters. They're not going to be acting the same way.
Do you hope that we get Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage? I think he did an amazing fucking job.
I love that. I love Luke Cage. Like that was actually I watched that. That was the first
of the
Netflix.
Series, right?
That was the first series I watched.
That's the one that I got all the way through. I didn't even finish Daredevil. Like I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like Daredevil, like all right, it's a good action flick. But out, man, when they started bringing up like the Wu-Tang Clan and bringing up all the rap and all the like the hip hop, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this show. And then they brought the heat with Luke Cage so good, like it was super good. And then Iron Fist dropped the fucking ball,
I mean,
dude.
Yeah, Iron Fist was bad. Honestly, I didn't even watch Iron Fist. I think Daredevil was probably the last one I watched. I didn't watch Jessica Jones. I didn't watch The Defenders. I watched Luke Cage first. Then I watched Punisher.
Yeah.
And then I watched Daredevil.
Did you watch Punisher season 2?
I didn't watch. Did I watch?
I season either.
No, I definitely watched everything from Punisher. Yeah.
Yeah, with Jigsaw. I didn't get to watch the second season. I didn't really care for it. There was something about it that I just like maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, what took me away from it was literally the sex scene. Like there was like the second episode that had like a sex scene, and it was like just abnormally long for no reason. And I was like,
just
okay. Like I was real like, okay, like we get it. Like they're doing things. Then it's just smashing in this. I was like, okay, like 30 seconds in, the minute in, I was like, damn it, dude. God damn it.
That's funny.
But yeah, I didn't get to finish Jessica Jones. But praise-wise, I heard that Jessica Jones' series is probably one of the best things because of the Purple Man.
Yeah.
The villain that ends up coming in. So I got to balls up and watch it one day. So that'd be nice, but it's already been too long.
Yeah.
We're already going to get a whole new iteration. From what we heard, we're going to get a whole new version of Daredevil. It's not going to be connected to the Netflix. And even though Kevin Feige, this dude, likes to make billions, he's got to have heard the commotion that people are talking about, where that Netflix series is like been the best thing since the Q-tip. Like he has to have heard that.
No, that's what I'm saying. He hates that. He doesn't like that. Like I'm saying, that's
It's
literally because he wasn't involved in it. He had no control. Like that's one thing that probably fucks with him and will ever always fuck with him, is because Marvel has had some success during his reign that he had nothing to do with.
That he had nothing to do with.
Yeah, and that can't look good or feel good. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the one to say I just single-handedly, but at any point someone could always say, well, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, all over that, they had some success too without you, bro. So
then I would just simply say, hey man, you know what, like looking at season 4, like it doesn't look too bad about you doing some outreach and getting some help, man, because it looks like you're dropping the ball a little bit.
But but you know what his compromise was, hey, all right, so it was successful over there at Netflix, so what I'll do is I'll cherry pick some of the actors and actresses and I'll bring them over. Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we understand that the cameo of Daredevil is probably going to be the biggest thing coming to the series. Robert's saying it's going to be coming in episode 9, which is the last episode of the series. Yeah. We do know that we're going to eventually get a Frogman, which I have no idea why I should be hyped about this character, but everyone's super hyped because it's a dude in a frog suit, and that's about all we know. We don't know what he does. He just stands in a karate stance and is going to fight She-Hulk or do something, because I don't know what the fuck Frogman does.
Just do something cool. Just do something.
He's going to do something. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do. Yeah, just look at him and be like, yo, do something cool. Because I really just don't know what the fuck he's going to do. And when I heard that they're going to bring in Frogman, at first I was like, who the fuck is Frogman?
Yeah.
But the internet, correlates this idea that everyone knows who Frogman is and has been anticipating his return or his entrance into the MCU. So I was like, okay, sure. I guess I'll be excited too then. But yeah, not Chris. I was going to say Chris Hemsworth as Lobo. Vince got me over here tripping. Chris Hemsworth as Lobo. Can you imagine that? That'd be silly. That'd be really silly. He's a funny guy though. George says Iron Fist was mid, but I liked it. Gave the old Kung Fu movie hype. I can see that. That was the whole entire That was the
Iron
whole
Fist had
entire-
some decent episodes. It had a few episodes
Yeah.
that I heard was
I kind
good,
of feel
but-
like the guy overacted, if that makes sense. And that's what
Mm.
kind of took me away from it. Like he tried really hard to be like this weird dude that grew up in a monastery. He was like, yo, I know exactly what it takes. Watch me do it. And then he just overacted that fucking part. But then again, if you ever see iterations of Iron Fist, he's kind of like that even in the cartoons. Overall, what would we rank this episode of She-Hulk?
Dude, I enjoyed it, dude. I will give this one an 8.5, 9.
Okay.
I enjoyed this episode.
how
I
did
actually like
you-
this episode more than some of the other ones.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like sitting above the other ones. And how would you
Yeah.
rate the series as it's going right now?
It's a solid 8 for me, man. I'm enjoying
shit.
myself. I'm enjoying
Okay.
it.
For me, it's probably going to sit like mid 6.57. It's a nice throwaway show. Like you can get away with it being like a guilty pleasure. I think it's one of those shows that'll probably be a lot better once it's fully out. I think it being consumed in like single episodes per week, I don't think that's doing it a lot of justice. I really think that if they would have just done what like Netflix does and just released like, hey, here's the whole series, enjoy. I think that would have probably been a lot better because then we get a whole idea of what they're trying to portray. Myself personally, I feel like I haven't gotten like a story. I don't know where this character sits in the MCU other than
But
she's the
see,
Hulk's cousin.
I'm glad that you brought that up
Okay.
because there's a difference as to why Netflix can do that and why Disney Plus can't do that. Because Netflix is the OG on the block. They already have your subscription. Disney Plus is still trying to gain subscriptions. They're not just gonna dump everything for like they're not just dump
They have
every
to maintain.
episode. They have to maintain. They got to make sure they keep you. Because let's say you wanted to watch She-Hulk, so you'll buy the subscription for a month and then you'll cancel
Well,
it.
you
After,
cancel it the next one.
and then you cancel it, the next month. They got to keep you. So it makes sense for them to have episodic shows. Netflix, they don't give a fuck. You're not going anywhere. Like they can they keep raising the price, $14, $15, $16. They'll raise it to $30. Well, 30 might be a little bit too excessive, but they'll keep raising it. You're still gonna fucking pay it because why? It's Netflix. Like I would love to get a consensus as to how many people have Netflix but actually watch the shit on it. Like I have Netflix, but I barely watch anything on Netflix. I never watch anything on Netflix.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't really have like too much. Vince just asked in the comment section if they were going to recast Elektra. If so, Gal Gadot as Elektra. I do believe they've already recasted her with a girl named Isa Gonzalez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I don't know if Gal Gadot would be a perfect fit either.
Yeah, because she's already like kind of like getting older.
And not only that, but like we've seen her as Elektra or like a version of a warrior.
A warrior, yeah. We want to kind of get her away from that.
Dude, I want to see somebody new. Give me somebody new, bro.
That's very, very true. Very true. George then says, I haven't, but my 3-year-old and my 2-year-old watch the shit out of the Netflix kids.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. It works. And then not only that, like with the Disney subscription, of course, like we have the old classics of all this stuff in Disney. I myself right now, I'm going back to watch Avengers Assemble, the cartoon, because I just remembered that they do have like a Battle World series. And I wanted to see what their iteration of Battle World was going to look like for Secret Wars to see what are the possibilities of Marvel using those concepts. And they have like a dude right now that's the Beyonder in that series. I mean, it's not new or anything. It's pretty old. The dude's got like a lumberjack beard. He's got like plugs in ears and like he's wearing like suspenders and overalls. Like the dude's a normal dude. Like you see this guy in the gym or like he'd be shopping at Starbucks or something, man. And it's like this is the guy that's supposed to be like the Kang the Conqueror of that series. So it's an interesting visual for a character like that. Mm-hmm. But going back to what we were talking about, She-Hulk, I think the series for me is probably like a 6.5, a 7. I think the comedy sometimes hits. I think the characters are fine. The ladies, the actresses are doing a pretty good job. I just feel like right now, being that I think it's suffering from the same curse as the majority of the Disney streaming series, is that they've passed the middle episodes and they still really haven't given us enough story. So it's just going to be all given to us at the end for like the last 2 episodes. and I'm kind of like, I'm kind of over that system that we got going on with Disney Plus. But it is what it is, and yeah. Anybody that's in the comment section, please let us know your ratings for She-Hulk episode 6 and what you guys feel about the series overall right now. Onwards to our last part of the conversation, into something a little bit different, but still in the same realm, under the same Disney banner. We do have the release of a new Star Wars series titled Andor. Andor is a new series that just recently came out. It just debuted, I want to say like 2 days ago on Disney Plus. It's coming out in 3 episode sections. It deals with Cassian Andor, which is the character that helped the girl in Rogue One. He's like the swashbuckling skinny dude that comes out and helps her out. Kind of like her love interest, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Now, we do have pretty much a definitive end of how we know this guy's life's going to end, right? I mean, we could pretty much say, like, this guy dies in Rogue One. But we're getting a backstory, and apparently this story consists of the birth of the rebellion or something like that, right?
Yep.
And that's what it is. Have you seen the series?
I have, sir.
And what did you think? I mean, the first 3 episodes.
I liked it. I thought that it was listen, I had no expectations whatsoever. Star Wars does not have good credit with me. So especially when it comes to their shows. Anything other than Mando has been a letdown for me personally. So I had no expectations whatsoever. And I guess that kind of helped. You know what? I shouldn't say that because I think this is a good show regardless. Whether I had expectations or not. I think my expectations would have been met if I had them high. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I listen, I watch a lot of people that do reactions and a lot of people that consider themselves YouTube critics and whatnot, and they don't like.
Oh yeah, you sent me that one with what is it, Den of Nerds?
Yeah.
That was funny as fuck, man.
Yeah,
I literally, when you sent it to me, I had just seen the first episode.
Yeah,
like just by itself, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's not too bad. That's not bad. And then you sent me that, and I was like, oh, that guy's pretty fucking harsh, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I'm really digging. Well, at least for the first 3 episodes, I'm digging it. But I can't see if they're staying, you know, in this like on this course. I can't see how they're going to fuck it up. And this is turning out to be a lot better than I anticipated. To be honest with you, the acting is good. It kind of even has like a cinema quality to it. Just in an episodic format. It's really good.
I do feel like this is some of the better writing that Star Wars has done since The Mandalorian. Like everything else that we've gotten so far has not been at this level, other than the episodes of like Boba that consisted of The Mandalorian and The Mandalorian show itself. I kind of went into the same way. Like I think we talked about this several weeks ago where we were like, oh, they're making a show called Andor. Cool, man. More Star Wars material to watch. And I think we kind of went into it being like, all right, bet. Like that's not bad. Only to see that it was more of like a gritty, darker tone of a world that we thought they've already told us enough and we're kind of just tired of it. But it kind of reinvigorated the story again. Like I feel more compelled. I feel very compelled to see where the story's going to go. The way that they portrayed the people, the indigenous people that they brought in, the characters have been well written and well put together. Yeah, I dug it. So far, it's not too bad. I don't know where the hate is coming from. That's what I want to know. I want to know where like people are like that they're not liking it, like they're despising it or whatnot. I think this gives so much potential, and it's been something that most of the people that are complaining about have cried about, where that they wanted something different other than the Star Wars saga. This gives us like a whole other like a vibe of what that universe feels like, and I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I thought it was great. The first 3 episodes are pretty good.
Yeah, again, I definitely enjoyed the tone. I like the pacing. I think it didn't seem like they were like 30-minute episodes. They seemed
Kind of
like
longer.
they didn't see like all the other shows that we've had these 30-minute episodes. They seemed like rush and short, but this seemed like a little bit longer. Like it felt longer than 30 minutes to me. And I enjoyed that.
Do you feel after watching these 3 episodes, do you feel anything of like a disconnect from what we've been given from Star Wars? Or do you feel like this is like no, it feels like a Star Wars film?
It definitely feels like Star Wars to me.
Okay.
It definitely feels like Star Wars, but it definitely feels like it's a different angle from it that we haven't seen before, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that the way that it was shot, it seems like it seems like the budget was higher than what it actually was. Like it's really good writing. Yeah, it's really good writing. And it was shot phenomenally. Yeah, I don't have enough good things to say. I just hope they don't let I just hope they don't let me down.
Yeah, that's the thing is I just hope they don't drop the ball.
Yeah.
I think I can agree with what you said earlier where it feels more cinematic than what we've been given. Because there's no way that we can compare the quality of this show to what they did with Boba Fett.
hmm
Like the Boba Fett series literally looked like a Power Ranger episode, like filmed in a studio. Like where this feels almost like Blade Runner. I guess that's the easiest way to compare it to another film is like the Blade Runner, the new one. Like that whole world building, the vibe, the cinematography, the tone, it felt very Blade Runner. Like it felt very detective story noir vibes. And for some reason, I really felt like we were taken back to Rogue One. Like this the part in the when they bring what's Donnie Yen's character when they're in that town.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but yeah.
I feel like the cinematography is very well done to that part of that film. Like it just feels like it's all coherently one region. Or I don't know how to explain it. Like it
You
feels
know what I
good.
like? You know what I also like about it? I liked the magnitude of it makes it known that it's a very grounded show. It's not something that's like superly over the top. It's something that like if there was a Jedi here, this conflict would be over in like 10 minutes, but it's not. So it's like it's very grounded in the sense that it's going to be I feel like it's going to be like that the entire show. And I like that. That's a change of pace. I don't always need some overpowered Sith Lord or some
Yeah.
overpowered fucking Jedi, taking up all the fucking screen time. Sometimes it's cool to have a gunfight or you know what I'm saying? Like it's sometimes that's cool and for them to be able to outsmart, somebody to get away like that was cool for me. I appreciated it.
I really like the I got this like dwarven vibes from the way that this city kind of like maintains itself.
Yeah.
Like everybody has like a specific job that everyone does. And for me, Andor Cassium, the guy, he's pretty much playing like the role of Aladdin. Like he's like this like kid on the streets that kind of just does his own thing and people allow him to do it and they just know he has a good heart even though he kind of like, oh well, I'll pay you back later kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. But everyone else around him is so like grounded in their beliefs and traditions. Like I really like the scene with all the gloves on the wall. I like the whole kind of like a tribal essence of the guy playing the big steel bell. Like the way he kind of like moves and he's like doing his own like I don't know like a theatrical rendition of the way he wants to play the drums. Like I don't quite get that yet.
Mhm.
But it's so interesting that the way that guy carries himself and his enthusiasm into hitting the bell during the certain hour that he needs to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, but those little things they make me feel more like a relatable structure to the story and the people in it. The guy that works in the mill that like that had his back at the very beginning to make up the story and then later on like cares about him because he's leaving. Like there's a whole like it's like a haka. Yeah, there you go, Gabe. It feels like a haka when he's performing the bell toll, right? And then when he goes up to the guy in the like, I don't know who that guy is. The one guy that works in the milling area.
His,
You know what I'm talking
yeah, they say his name. I can't remember what they said his name was.
But I'm guessing he's just like just a friend, right?
Yeah, he's like his best friend.
And I'm kind of hoping that a lot of these people that are all friends of his, that they've all grown up, that they were a part of that tribe when he was a kid. And that this is like a small batch of them that survived the massacre of their people. And that this is why they never mention the city that they're from or the race of people they are.
Okay.
And that these are all people who now live amongst him, and they kind of all look after him. Which of course was like the mom character, the lady that kind of like helped him out and saved him. There's a lot of just like, there's such a passion for the community in this film or this series. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. What do you feel is a positive outreach or a positive thing for this series, and what do you think would be a negative if it brought in something?
Just the acting. I think the acting is really good. Again, the way that everything was shot was really good. Yeah, just keep it the way that it's going. You have me. I'm intrigued. I'm engaged. I was really satisfied with the last and episode 3 with the whole chase scene or them being trapped in, and just realizing like, oh shit, this is literally like the start of the rebellion. Like this is where the rebellion starts right here. With this conversation between these two, or the rebellion already started, but this is like where we know it to start, and where
To open up more.
Yeah, to open up more. Like this is where it all starts, from this one conversation. So it's little things like that gives a nod to what we already know is going to happen in the future. I like that type of thing. Yeah,
I think so far my favorite part was the ending scene, where it's the close-up of every one of these characters and their different emotional content. You had the girl who just lost the guy that got shot, who screwed everybody over. She was like,
that guy had it coming, by the way. Like they try to make you feel bad.
I don't even know why they got mad.
They try to make you feel bad, but that guy had it coming. I'm sorry, bro. Fuck him.
But of course, like we could tell that she cared and she didn't want him to get killed, but she just thought he was a piece of shit for doing it.
He was.
But I guess they're used to it. That street mentality that like, yo, you're a snitch. You can't believe you snitched on him, and you're gonna deal with this shit later. But we're gonna go, But they didn't expect for him to die
wasn't
from
even
it.
trying to bang your girl, bro. You just did that just because you're fucking insecure. He wasn't even trying to peg your girl, bro. Like that's like if you caught him in bed with your girl, okay, you may have some grounds to do some snake shit.
And they even kind of created this idea that those two guys, like, they had history too, like they knew each other.
They knew each other.
You know what I mean? Like they made that feeling where he's like, yo, well, look for someone else if you can't handle it. Like he just calls him out on his bullshit.
You could definitely tell Andor definitely smashed back in the day, but that was probably like like in high school, and this guy is still kind of like he knows about it, and he's still kind of like insecure about it. Like, come on, bro. I smashed the girl back in high school. Let it go.
Which felt organic. Like that whole mentality, that whole part felt organic. And then boom, he gets shot, and the chick was like, I didn't expect for that to happen. So she feels it, but she's getting roughed up by the cops. But then you have like the mom that's crying. Like, dude, that was like so heartwarming. Like the mother part where she's crying in her place. The guy that's sitting at the bar that's worried about Andor, and everybody just looks like they play a part of the rebellion in that shot. Like each one of those people plays a specific role that helps build the rebellion later. And I really, really dug that. I really appreciated each character getting everybody getting their time, like their film time. I thought it was great. The shot at the end of Andor looking out the spaceship, being old and young, of them going between the flashback and him. I thought that was really great. The cinematography of that shot was beautiful. Everything looked fantastic. I can't wait for the next couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. I think right now, I know that someone probably mentioned this earlier. Yeah, Vince says that he's hoping to get like some type of Han Solo cameo or something in Andor. I kind of feel like it doesn't need a cameo right now. I kind of feel like it just needs to like organically grow. I think the first 3 episodes built such great characters. Even the one villain dude like that piece of shit dude that's such a puss, and that one soldier guy that's like, you know, the stronger, you know, he's that skinny dude that made all this shit happen. Now his superior has to come back and he has to answer for all the death that he caused.
Yeah, so that was my question. Like, what do you do now? Like, you were
Like
definitely
that guy fucked up. Like
you were like specifically told to
not
stand
to do it.
down, and actually he even went as far because he didn't even have to give you an explanation as to why you should stand down, but he goes as far as to tell you why you're supposed to stand down because this is not the best time for you to be doing this, and yet here you are,
Here you are.
and here you are, and then not only that, but you don't even get the job done. You fuck up.
And then not only that, like that police chief dude that took off, like he hit that shit right on the nose. Like he was like, "Oh, these guys were probably in the wrong place."
Yeah, like
hanging
he
out at the
basically,
titty
he
bar,
basically
fucking-
dissected. First off, you weren't smart enough to dissect this shit. So let me tell you exactly what the fuck you're about to do. You're about
and
to
he
fuck
hit
up.
it right on the fucking button.
Yeah, you're about to fuck this all up because we are in the wrong. Like, I can just tell you that right now. We will not look good at the end of this. So I need you to stand the fuck down. And no, you just had to be the Boy Scout and fucking just do your thing. But all right.
I think if we get any type of cameo, that would be a pretty good nod. Would possibly be Mads Mikkelsen's character from Rogue One. It'd be cool to see Mads Mikkelsen or shot in the dark, fucking Star Killer. Star Killer would be a fucking awesome fucking cameo. And if not, General Thrawn. I think General Thrawn would be. I mean, I'll always shoot for him, but that was about the time where he was around. So that would be pretty cool. He would be the higher up in the superiors. We know that the character that is there, that is the bad guy in this, they run like a small outpost because it's barely like a trading area. But we know that the Empire isn't very, they're not very strong in that region yet. And this could be a reason why it starts. Who knows? So far, so good. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's a high mark. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. How do you feel about it? And are we excited for next week?
Yeah, I'll probably give it like a 8 with the potential to be higher. And I'm looking forward to next week.
Let me see real quick. I'll give you guys some information. Andor will be, let me see if I can give you how many episodes and shit like that are going to be on it. Because I really don't know how to read the internet, dude. We are looking at episode list. It's going to be 12 episodes.
12 episodes. Yeah,
12 episodes. And it's going to be releasing every Thursday or Wednesday. And it's going to be 3 episodes released every time. So should be a 6-week series. And we'll be covering here on the show. Brian, anything else going? What you got going on this weekend?
Nothing much, man. Just relaxing, bro.
Chilling. Good stuff. Like I said, guys, this weekend we have UCX. Going into next week, we have Anime Fiesta. Super excited to go. Vince says, what do you guys think about the Loki season 2 trailer that was released at D23? Did you get to see that?
Yeah, I think you posted it in the chat.
Yeah. What'd you think? Did you get to watch it?
I got to watch it. Yeah, I had already heard about what it was, but now it's just good to see it. It looks good. Listen, I'm a big fan of the first season, so looking forward towards the second one. I
am super excited. Can't wait. I want to see that guy that plays Data, the little Asian dude. I'm excited to see him doing films again, and can't wait. Guys and gals, I want to say thank you guys very much to our extraordinary listeners. Thank you guys for tuning into the show this Friday night with us here on the Average Weight Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure that you are safe, you are doing good things, you're telling each other you love everybody, and make sure you guys are subscribed to us, guys. Go check us out on all your podcast apps. That would be Google, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, we're on it. Even go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be really nice. I'm trying to build that up. That'd be super nice for you guys. But guys, I want to say thank you, and we'll see you guys again here next Friday here on the podcast live. Friday nights here, 9 p.m. on Facebook. We love you. We'll see you guys again next week.
Peace.
Be easy. Be easy.